The sect rules were strict. The sect rules were strict. Killing disciples of the same sect was an extremely heavy crime. However, a few people dying in the wilderness would never be discovered, so it was even more impossible for the Xianjian sect to send people to investigate. Zhou Tianxiao smiled slightly and said, "Niudahai, you heard it? Hand over the treasure map in your hands, and we can let you live." It looked like he was about to eat Niudahai. A disdainful sneer hung on his face. He had to obtain the treasure map in order to enter the Thunder Dragon's secret realm. Niudahai laughed. "Zhou Tianxiao, I know you also have a treasure map on you. This is the second one for me. And the first one is on you. Without my treasure map, you won't be able to enter this place. Kill me." Niudahai acted like a dead pig that was not afraid of being boiled in water. He moved his hand and directly grabbed the parchment map in his hands. A flame sprayed out from his palm. The treasure map began to burn. Zhou Tianxiao's face turned anxious. A murderous light flashed in his eyes as he asked, "Niudahai, what are you doing?" Damn it! Just as Niudahai had said. He also had a treasure map, but what he had was a map of the first level of Thunder Dragon Temple's secret realm. At most, he could only enter the second floor, but the third floor, without the treasure map, there was no way to go down. Niudahai laughed out loud and said, "I have all of the treasure map in my mind. Zhou Tianxiao, you want to kill me? If you have the guts, come and kill me. Come on, come on. F*CK, your grandpa. Why don't you give Lousy a hard time?" Awesome. Extremely savage. Zhou Tianxiao's face turned green, and his teeth itched with hatred. Niudahai laughed disdainfully. "Zhou Tianxiao, didn't you want to kill me? Come on, you guys want to kill me, right? If you have the guts, come at me. Kill me? You guys try it. I guarantee that you won't be able to find the Thunder Dragon Temple's secret treasure in your lifetime." At this moment, one of the two women smiled, lightly, walked up and said, "Senior fellow apprentice Niu." Not waiting for her to finish, Niudahai said in a domineering manner, "Please call me Big Brother Niu." The woman's face darkened, but she endured it and said, "Big Brother Niu, we are all senior fellow apprentice of the same sect. Everyone has something to discuss. The Thunder Dragon Temple secret realm is the highest mission in the outer sect, and just the credit point have 10,000 points. They can be exchanged for a lot of magic weapon treasures. Forget about all of this. There are also Thunder Dragon Temple's secret treasures. As long as we can find one or two, we don't have to worry about them anymore." Finished. The woman even said coquettishly, "Brother Niu." That voice, it could make a man's bones go soft. Niudahai's face was filled with enjoyment, and he even revealed an extremely wretched expression. "I'm most afraid of girls acting coquettishly. Since junior sister apprentice Yunqin has said that, holy **T. Why should I cooperate with you?" With a sudden roar, Niudahai's face changed, changing his expression even faster than a woman's, and said, "Beauty's trap is useless against me." Yunqin's face darkened. He wished that he could tear the fatty in front of him apart. Long Fei almost couldn't hold back his laughter. This fatty was a little interesting. Niudahai said, "Unless, call me Ox Bro again, and let me have a good time. I'll seriously consider your suggestion. Damn fatty, I see that you're tired of living." Zhou Tong took a step forward, his entire body bursting with fighting spirit. "Don't be so shameless. I still don't believe that I won't be able to go down without the treasure map on your body." Yunqin was a woman he liked, so he was naturally unwilling to lower himself to her level. Niudahai was not at all afraid. Sneering coldly, he said, "Zhou Tong, this Lord Fatty just said that if you have the guts, come up and kill me. I want to see how you two will obtain the secret treasure. Come on, come on. If you don't dare to come, then scram to the side. What the F*** are you doing?" Zhou Tong could not bear it any longer. His eyes filled with killing intent. He wanted to rush up and stab Niu Dahai in the head, but was pulled back by Zhou Tianxiao and said slightly, "Niu Dahai." Niu Dahai immediately interrupted. "Call Big Brother Niu." "No, you should be called Senior Fellow Apprentice Ox. Ox Bro only needs to be a girl to call you that." Pucci, Long Fei really couldn't hold back and laughed out loud. Then he turned his gaze towards Niu Dahai as he said, "Senior Fellow Apprentice Niu, your goal in coming to the Thunder Dragon Temple is also for the sect mission and the secret treasures of the Thunder Dragon Temple. Everyone's goal is the same. Let's form a team together." Niu Dahai's goal was naturally to find the mission and the Thunder Dragon Temple's secret treasure. However, just now, Zhou Tianxiao had already revealed his sinister face. Niu Dahai was not an idiot. He thought for a moment. Niu Dahai smiled slightly and said, "You guys can ask me to form a team, but first, Junior Brother Zhou, I was shocked by you guys just now, so you guys have to apologize to me first." Zhou Tong coldly snorted, "Fatty Niu, don't push your luck." Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Zhou Tianxiao smiled lightly and said, "Senior Fellow Apprentice Niu, we were wrong just now. I will lead everyone to apologize to you." His eyes were filled with amusement. He thought to himself, "You dog, once I enter the third floor, I'll immediately kill you. When that happens, I'll see if you can still act so arrogantly." Anger filled his heart. However, he had to obtain the Thunder Dragon Temple secret treasure. He had to. Niu Dahai listened very comfortably and said, "I have another condition. On the way, I want to ask Junior Sister Apprentice Yun Qin and Junior Sister Apprentice Yuan Ling to call me Big Brother Niu." The corners of Zhou Tianxiao's eyes turned sinister as he turned to look at the silent Yuan Ling. Yuan Ling said coldly, "Big Brother Niu." "Ha ha ha." Niu Dahai started laughing excitedly and said, "The voice of the number one beauty in the outer sect is good to listen to. It's so comfortable." Zhou Tianxiao said, "Is it okay now?" Niu Dahai said, "Yes, yes, absolutely. Junior Brother Zhou, after being in Xianjin sect for so many years, I never expected you to be so understanding. Ha ha." Zhou Tianxiao's eyes turned sinister again as he clenched both of his fists tightly. Killing intent flashed past his eyes, and he viciously said in his heart, "Damn fatty, just you wait. If you enter the third floor, your little life will be gone." As he was thinking about this, Niu Dahai said complacently, "How smart was he?" he thought to himself. "If you want to kill me, Zhou Tianxiao, let's play downstairs and see who can kill who. Don't look fat, but he's smarter than a monkey." From the conversation just now, Long Fei could feel that Zhou Tianxiao's IQ was definitely inferior to Niu Dahai's. At the same time, Long Fei's heart sank. There are a total of 4 treasure map, and theirs is the first and second. So then will the 2 on me be the third and fourth? If that's the case, then this Thunder Dragon Temple is more than just a third-level secret realm. What treasure is hidden in the Thunder Dragon Temple's secret realm? From the moment he entered, Long Fei had felt that the Thunder Dragon Rod had become a little different. Chapter 38_8419/2356554. 8 furious dragons covered in deadly lightning headed towards the pearl. 8 furious dragons covered in deadly lightning headed towards the pearl. The incomparably clear bead contained a lump of black mist. Originally, this ball of mist was silent, but once it entered, the black mist began to roil as if it were about to break through the bead. The 8 lightning dragons let out roars from time to time, as if they were enraged. The feeling Long Fei got was that the 8 thunder dragons had turned into a ball of black fog. What was that black fog? Why did he have to use 8 lightning dragon CLS? And one of them was even within the semi-artifact. Thunder Dragon Rod was the quest item. Where was the mission? Long Fei was also not clear. However, he had to get down the Thunder Dragon Temple secret realm. Nyodahai said, Junior Brother Zhou, stop stalling for time. You have the first treasure map in your possession. Hurry up and open the entrance. He couldn't wait any longer either. He was digging earlier on, but he did not expect to encounter a group of evil creatures and almost died inside. It was fortunate that he was saved by Long Fei. Otherwise his fat life would have ended up as a burp. Zhou Tianxiao did not want to waste time. He took out the treasure map and took a look at it, observing the surrounding terrain, then walked up to a huge stone pillar where there were some carvings on it. And then Zhou Tianxiao called out to someone, Hey, Yuan Ba, come over here. Oh, the big guy with the backpack ran up. His face was rather thick. He looked a little dumb with his dull eyes. He immediately ran to Zhou Tianxiao's side and asked, Young master, do you have any instructions? A ball of fire burned in Zhou Tianxiao's heart, and he immediately slapped the ground, cursing, How are you so slow? What orders? You don't have a brain, do you? Of course it's to move this stone pillar away. The slap resounded loudly. When it hit Yuan Ba's face, it was as if he did not know of the pain. He did not move at all. His arms suddenly exerted force. Crack! Crack! Both of his sleeves were torn apart by the bulging muscles. Next, veins popped out on his forehead as he exerted his strength. The stone pillar that weighed over 100,000 jin actually began to move. Holy **T. What kind of power is this? Long Fei was extremely shocked. This stone pillar was at least 100,000 kilograms, but he had easily moved it. This was not the power of the war chief realm. Niu Dahai also had a face full of shock as he said to Long Fei in a low voice, This guy was born with godly strength. What a pity. It's a pity that I followed the wrong person. He sighed. Get up. Yes, I did. He immediately picked up the huge stone pillar, walked a few steps to Zhou Tianxiao's side, and asked, Young master, where should we put it? Zhou Tianxiao bellowed, Throw me to the side. Immediately, Yuan Ba threw his hands together. Rumble! The stone pillar shattered, and rubble flew out. A pebble landed on Zhou Tianxiao's body, causing his gorgeous clothes to have a white spot. Zhou Tianxiao turned over and slapped him hard. I let you throw me to the side. I didn't tell you to throw me here. Trash! You can't even afford to lose your life if you dirty my clothes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm sorry, young lord. I'm sorry. Yuan Ba lowered his head and wiped off the blood on his body with his hands, just wanting to help Zhou Tianxiao clean himself up. Without waiting for him to reach out, Zhou Tianxiao slapped him again and scolded, Go to the side and die. Yuan Ba immediately retreated to the side and said, Yes, yes. There was no resistance at all, not even a look in his eyes. 3 consecutive slaps. Everyone would be angry, but he was not angry at all. He even felt that it was natural for Zhou Tianxiao to hit him. Long Fei looked a little unhappy. Niu Dahai was also unhappy and said softly, Boss, Yuan Ba is a slave to the Zhou family and almost starved to death on the streets. It was the Zhou family that gave him a bowl of food to eat, and from that day on, he became a slave to the Zhou family, and no matter what he took, he would never resist at all. What a fool! Long Fei's heart trembled. To not resist even when his dignity has been humiliated, what kind of idiot is this? Or is he being loyal to me? No one could define such a thing. Maybe to Yuan Ba, all of this was nothing. However, Long Fei had a good impression of the Lubi. He felt that this kind of person shouldn't be living like this. The divine power in his body was simply too powerful. Zhou Tianxiao looked down the stone pillar and muttered, Not this one? Yuan Ba, move all the pillars here. Zhou Tianxiao ordered. There were over 100 stone pillars of different sizes, in this plaza. All of them were incredibly huge and weighed over 100,000 jin. It was too difficult for a single person to move them away. Long Fei said softly, "Don't you have a treasure map in your hands? If we look carefully, we'll definitely be able to find the unique characteristics of the stone pillars, so he won't have to put so much effort into it. Even if it was innate divine strength, it wouldn't be able to hold up to 100 stone pillars. If he was even the slightest bit careless and smashed down, he would really become a pile of meat paste." Zhou Tianxiao stared at Long Fei coldly and snorted, "Who do you think you are? Do you think I can teach you how to do things? Get out of my way." Long Fei frowned. Niu Dahai was immediately in a bad mood and said, "Junior brother Zhou, what did you say? He's my boss. You better be a little polite to me." "Boss? Niu Dahai, what kind of dog or cat can become your boss? You really don't care." Zhou Tianxiao said with a cold smile. Niu Dahai shouted, "I am willing. What can you do?" The corners of Zhou Tianxiao's eyes turned sinister. "You aren't going to bring him into the secret realm as well, are you?" Niu Dahai said, "Of course. Do you have any objections?" "Ha ha ha." Zhou Tianxiao laughed and said, "If you, the Ox King, want to bring people into the secret realm, what objections would I have? Better for him. Like this, no one knew about Niu Dahai's death here, and no one spread news of him. Even if Niu Dahai didn't bring Long Fei down, he would still make the request, because he would definitely not let Niu Dahai and Long Fei leave this place alive." Niu Dahai disdainfully said, "If you don't have any objections, then stop bullshitting here." Zhou Tianxiao's face turned cold and thought to himself, "You dog, I'll give you guys some more time to live. Just you wait." Suddenly, Zhou Tianxiao turned and kicked Yuan Ba, then shouted, "Didn't you hear what I said? I want you to move all the pillars here. I think you're tired of living." With one kick, Yuan Ba was kicked to the ground. Yuan Ba crawled up without a single word of complaint. He immediately walked in front of a pillar with big strides. With the strength of his arms, he fiercely grabbed onto the pillar and then gently laid it down on the ground, afraid that he would break the stone pillar that had splashed onto Zhou Tianxiao's body. Stupid. Floating life. Table of contents. No windows. A++ half an hour later. All the pillars fell to the ground. Zhou Tianxiao walked to the first stone pillar that had been dropped and laughed loudly. "Idiot! The mechanism is right below the first stone pillar. I was trying to trick you just now. Ha ha. I didn't expect a fool, like you, to really put down all the stone pillars. You really are worthy of being a dog raised by my Zhou family." Chapter 48_8419/2356555. Is Junior Sister Apprentice Yuan Ling fun? Is Junior Sister Apprentice Yuan Ling fun? Zhou Tianxiao walked to the front of the lady with an ice-cold expression and looked as if he was trying to curry favor with her. All he had asked Yuan Ba to do was to make her laugh. He completely disregarded Yuan Ba. In his eyes, Yuan Ba was not even human. Yuan Ba's expression did not change. He was not angry because of the humiliation, but slowly carried the luggage on his back and stood quietly at the side. It was as if everything that had just happened had nothing to do with him. Long Fei felt his heart ache as a ball of fire engulfed his heart. It's not like that to bully people. Even if he was a slave, he shouldn't be playing around like this. Just because he was trying to win over a girl with a smile? Long Fei was unhappy, very unhappy. However, Niu Dahai pulled him and said in a deep voice, "Don't provoke him. We don't have any right to care about the matters of the Lubi. See, the Lubi doesn't have any complaints." Indeed, Lubi did not complain at all. He just stood there motionlessly like a log. Cluck, cluck. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly and stared coldly at Zhou Tianxiao. Yuan Ling glanced at Zhou Tianxiao and said, "Is it really that fun? Wasting time." Cold eyes, cold voice. Zhou Tianxiao's expression slightly darkened, and immediately smiled apologetically. Junior sister apprentice, enter the cave immediately. Finished. Turning around, he kicked Yuan Ba's body again and shouted, "Are you deaf? Explore the cave for me." This kick was extremely powerful. Furthermore, Zhou Tianxiao was a War Elder Realm cultivator, so his power was surging. He kicked out with his foot, causing Yuan Ba, who was caught off guard, to fall onto the ground. If it was anyone else, even if they didn't die, they would be sent flying. Yuan Ba quickly got up from the ground, walked to the seemingly deep black hole under the enormous pillar, and directly went inside. Zhou Tianxiao looked at Niu Dahai and said, "Senior fellow apprentice Niu, please." Niu Dahai smiled lightly. "Not bad. You're very polite. You let me in first." Long Fei followed Niu Dahai in. Then Yun Qin and Yuan Ling entered the cave. Zhou Tong and Zhou Tianxiao were the last to enter. Zhou Tong was displeased as he said, "Big brother, why did you bring that barbarian along? Having one more person is troublesome. You have to get rid of him outside." Zhou Tianxiao gave a cold laugh and said, "There's no rush. His cultivation is only at War Chief level 3. Don't worry about him. It's just that fatty. As long as we find the entrance to the 3rd floor, we'll immediately—" Zhou Tianxiao made a throat-slitting motion. Zhou Tong lightly nodded and said, "Understood." 1st floor of Thunder Dragon Temple Secret Realm. It was a huge, spacious, underground chamber. Doors to doors, houses to houses. It was as if this was the ruins of the Thunder Dragon Immortal sect. After entering the 1st floor, Zhou Tianxiao immediately said, "Senior fellow apprentice Niu, we have entered the 1st floor. You already know how dangerous it is, so I suggest that we allow them to lead the way. If it's me—" Yuan Ba, Luby walked up and stood at the very front like a war god. Zhou Tianxiao said, "Senior fellow apprentice Niu, each of you have to send someone to clear the way. That way, we can be faster and safer." Niu Dahai's eyes turned sinister as he said, faintly, "I'll—" Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei walked up and stood beside Yuan Ba and said, "I'll lead the way." Niu Dahai was startled and said, "Boss, let me do it. It is very evil inside, many strong and evil creatures. You also saw the wolf just now. It is just a low-level monster." "Huh." Long Fei was shocked. A wolf or the lowest level monster? Does that mean there are more advanced monsters here? Isn't that? You want to make a profit? Immediately, Long Fei said, "Don't worry, let me do it. I just need some things." Yo, it's good to be strong enough to get out of this situation. Zhou Tianxiao smiled slightly and said, "Since you have already decided, then let's hurry up and open the path. What are you still standing there for? Waiting for dinner?" Yuan Ba took a step forward. Long Fei said to Niu Dahai, "Be careful." After which, he walked up with large strides. Terrifying howls were constantly issued from the darkness. Bang, bang, bang. A burst of hurried footsteps came out. Following that, a huge wolf flew down and pounced towards Yuan Ba. Yuan Ba's body sank. His arm exploded with great strength. The moment the wolf bit down, he turned around, grabbed the wolf's head, and threw his left fist at the wolf. Punches, 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 punches. Blood spurted out of the wolf's head. Less than half a minute, the wolf remained motionless. It was dead. Blast him to death by Yuan Ba's pure strength. Long Fei stood at the side and looked at him without moving. He was a little dumbfounded. He knew that Yuan Ba's strength was strong. He could even lift a stone pillar that was over 100,000 kilograms, but he never thought that this fellow would actually be able to blast a wolf to death. Shock. It was quite shocking. Damn. Long Fei suddenly realized a very serious problem, and that was he had no experience, because he had not made a move just now. He did not have the slightest bit of experience. Long Fei regained his senses. He was in incomparable pain, and he thought to himself, just like that, 10,000 experience points were sent flying. What the F***K? Zhou Tianxiao accompanied Yuan Ling and said, Junior Sister Apprentice, my dog's fighting strength should be pretty good. This time, you don't have to worry about it. Thunder Dragon Temple Secret Realm. I'll definitely help you find a famous lightning attribute magic weapon, even if it's a lightning attribute holy artifact. Yuan Ling's expression still did not have the slightest of reaction, and only coldly looked at Yun Qin, who was beside him. Yun Qin said, Senior Sister, Senior Fellow Apprentice Sky, Roar knows that you want this lightning attribute magic weapon to spend a large amount of money to purchase this treasure map. He has so much love for you. Without waiting for her to finish speaking, Yuan Ling had already walked out. Zhou Tianxiao looked at Yuan Ling's beautiful figure, and the muscles at the corner of his eyes twitched. Why are you acting so high and mighty? Don't let me get you onto the bed. When the time comes, let me see how you can continue acting. Bang, bang, bang. Another series of violent footsteps rushed forward. It's my turn this time. Long Fei took a small step forward and rushed forward. Without waiting for the wolf to pounce on him, he shouted, splitting pulse technique. Boom. Both fists hit the ground, and cracks appeared on it. The powerful force bounced back, sending the wolf into the air. Long Fei then leaped up into the air and hugged both of his fists together, forming a battle axe. The shadow of the large power King Kong ape superimposed over his body. Mountain hit fist. Explode. HTTP. // the punch landed. Rumble. The wolf was sent flying. Its body smashed into the ground, and the ground cracked. The wolf struggled on the ground for a while, then its body stiffened, and it stopped breathing. Ding. Chapter 5. 8_8419/2356556. Ding. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing, Wolf for gaining an experience point, True Breath 100 points, energy values 1 point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Soul Lock Chain number 1. 2 moves were enough to kill. It was also pure strength. Yuanba looked at Long Fei, a look of excitement flashing past his eyes, but that look quickly disappeared. Savages are really savages. Even the cultivation techniques they train in are like those of demon beasts. This kind of person can't even be considered a real person. Zhou Tong disdainfully sneered. Niu Dahai said with disdain, my boss is not up on stage, then you should go up and see. Go kill a wolf and try. Zhou Tong's face turned cold. Niu Dahai sneered, you don't dare? If you don't dare, then don't just stand there and listen. You're so disgusted by what you're hearing. You understand? *CK. He didn't care that much. If he was unhappy, he would say it. If he was unhappy, he would scold. Zhou Tong was extremely furious in his heart. His teeth chattered loudly, as if he wanted nothing more than to tear Niu Dahai to pieces. Niu Dahai also felt the aura being emitted from his body, and said, Oh, are you trying to kill me again? Come on. If you don't dare to come, then scram to the side. Trash. Zhou Tong's face was scarlet red, and his body's killing intent recklessly burst out. However, Zhou Tianxiao caught him and smiled slightly. You're right, Senior Fellow Apprentice is teaching me a lesson. Before he entered the 3rd floor, he could not touch Niu Dahai because he needed a map. He needed Niu Dahai to lead the way. He couldn't touch Niu Dahai. He could touch another person. And then Zhou Tianxiao scolded loudly. You too trash. Driving the road is so slow. When will you be able to enter the second floor? Yuanba, hurry up. Niu Dahai said, what are you doing so quickly? In a hurry to be reborn, Zhou Tianxiao sneered. Senior fellow apprentice Niu, your people aren't good. They're completely trash. It's going to be too slow. Niu Dahai's gaze tensed up. At this moment, Yuanba had already rushed out. Zhou Tianxiao's words were an order as he charged in without hesitation. Immediately, in the darkness, all sorts of heavy footsteps could be heard, just like the sound of an army of wolves. Long Fei's face tensed up. Although he didn't know where this place was as a game expert, he could tell by killing 2 wolves. These wolves didn't rely on the eyes to see, but on the breath. Once the breath entered their sensing range, they would immediately be discovered. It was very dangerous to rush blindly into the darkness. Zhou Tianxiao looked at the stunned Long Fei and scolded, what are you still standing here blankly for? If you don't know how to open a path, then scram. Don't embarrass yourself here. Trash. The corner of Long Fei's eyes turned cold as he stared at the nearby Zhou Tianxiao. He had the intention to kill. However, it was not because he did not dare, but because Zhou Tianxiao had yet to die. Moreover, he wanted to save Lubi first. His legs moved as he swiftly charged into the darkness. Zhou Tianxiao said proudly, that's right, you're the obedient one. Junior sister apprentice Yuan Ling, do you think this person owes you a scolding? If you dare delay any longer, I will really teach him a lesson. Zhou Tianxiao looked extremely pleased with himself. However, Yuan Ling did not even look at him and walked into the darkness with large strides. Roar! Roar! Telling. The moment Long Fei dashed into the darkness, he discovered that he had already been surrounded by over a dozen wolves. However, he was not the least bit afraid, and it was as if he did not know the pain. Catching a wolf was equivalent to attacking with all his might. If he didn't stop now, he wouldn't rest until he was dead. The other wolves kept attacking, biting at his thighs, arms, and abdomen. He was covered in blood and had no intention of leaving. He continued to attack. It was completely a desperate strategy. If this continued, he would die from excessive loss of blood. Long Fei could not understand him. Why can a person do this? What kind of person was Yuan Ba exactly? Without giving it much thought, he took a step forward and said, teleport. Shwa. It landed behind a wolf. Magic power of right hand. Boom. It directly crushed the chrysanthemum of a wolf. That wolf let out a blood-curdling screech as its body continuously twitched before falling to the ground. The chrysanthemum was bleeding profusely, and it died within a few seconds. Long Fei's palm pierced into the wolf's abdomen, pulling out a rib from its body, sword-drawing style. Shwa. Ribs acted as swords. The sword intent was incredibly powerful as it pierced through the head of a wolf. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Wolf for gaining an experience point. True Breath 100 points. Energy values 1 point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Soul Lock Chain number 1. Raise the sword. Shwa. Falling sword style. Shwa. Broken sword style. Swish. The solitary 9 swords was released consecutively, killing all of the wolves in a single strike, completely instantly killing them. In the end, only the wolf that Yuan Ba tightly held onto was left. He was still bombarding. Long Fei felt a bit of heartache when he saw this, but despite his heartache, he could not let go of this experience. He still had to take this wolf's experience. A sword pierced the wolf's abdomen. The last trace of blood on the wolf's head had been drained. Ding. The system sounded out again. Long Fei lightly patted Yuan Ba's shoulder and said, Okay, it's dead. Yuan Ba's eyes dimmed as he leaned against a rock and lightly glanced at Long Fei. Long Fei took out a pellet and said, Take it. Yuan Ba did not accept it. With a cold expression, he slowly walked into the darkness and continued to lead the way. Suddenly, a cold voice came from behind Long Fei. What sword technique is this? Long Fei turned his head to take a glance. It was the Yuan Ling that was like an iceberg. Long Fei also coldly said, It's the murder wolf sword technique. Zhou Tianxiao also rushed over. Seeing that the surrounding dozens of wolves were all dealt a fatal blow, his heart was slightly shocked, and he shouted out at the same time, Kid, junior sister apprentice Yuan Ling is asking something. Hurry up and answer. Because of Yuan Ba's matter, Long Fei's heart was filled with a belly full of fire. He suddenly turned around. With a step, he instantly appeared in front of Zhou Tianxiao. Two dark and cold eyes stared at Zhou Tianxiao and said coldly, Don't be too arrogant. I don't want to waste words with you because in my eyes, you don't even have the qualifications to talk to me. Understand? Cold. The space of death rose up from deep within his heart. All of a sudden, Zhou Tianxiao's throat dried up and cold sweat seeped out of his palms. His War Elder Realm's aura had actually been completely crushed by Long Fei's third level of the War Chief. It was extremely uncomfortable. He couldn't say a single word. Chapter 78_8419/2356557. Even. He didn't even have the courage to look at Long Fei face to face. By the time he reacted, Long Fei had already disappeared into the darkness. Zhou Tianxiao's body loosened and cold sweat rolled down his forehead. Only then did he muster up his strength to scold the darkness. You dog, you dare be so arrogant in front of me. If you have the guts, don't leave. He felt extremely displeased. Yuan Ling walked out with large strides. Niu Dahai started laughing excitedly. Zhou Tong walked up and whispered, Big brother, what happened to you just now? How could you be suppressed by someone at the third level of the War Chief? He did not understand. Because he was not Zhou Tianxiao, he could not understand the feeling of being crushed. Zhou Tianxiao's face turned pale. He gritted his teeth and shouted, You dog, you made me lose face in front of Yuan Ling. Kid, I'll kill you. And then Zhou Tianxiao took out the treasure map and gave it to Zhou Tong, saying, Take this treasure map. I want you to lure all the wolves here. I want him to die. Zhou Tong was a little afraid, saying, Big brother, I'm worried. Zhou Tianxiao stared at him gloomily and said coldly, If you dare say half a word more, you will never have to worry again. I'll go right away. He was very clear on Zhou Tianxiao's methods. Sinister and sinister. He would not rest until he had achieved his goal. He was just a branch member of the Zhou family. No one would even know if he died. Zhou Tianxiao said indifferently, I will bring them around. You have half an hour to lure all the wolves here to me. Yes, sir. Zhou Tong took the map and quickly entered another passageway. Zhou Tianxiao's eyes turned sinister. He stared at the darkness and said sinisterly, You want to make me lose face? I will make you lose your life. After saying that, he quickly chased after her. Roar. Yuan Ba was still unstoppable, without any signs of stopping. The injuries on his body were completely ignored. It was as if he didn't know the pain at all. Long Fei gave him pills several times, but he did not care about it because he could not accept other people's pills. Otherwise, Zhou Tianxiao would think that Long Fei was humiliating him. That would be even worse for Long Fei. He couldn't do anything, but this was the only thing he could do for Long Fei. Long Fei did not understand. However, Long Fei fought with all his might to reduce the pressure on Yuan Ba. Not that way. Take the right passageway. After hearing Long Fei's threat, Zhou Tianxiao became quiet and stood behind the crowd while pointing at the road. Long Fei did not mind. It didn't matter to him whether this path was right or wrong. As long as there were monsters to kill and experience to obtain, nothing would be a problem. 10,000 experience points monsters were not a lot in Fireglass Mountain Range, and the experience here was equivalent to an instance dungeon to him. He could not let even a single monster off. It was just that. Behind him, there was a pair of ice-cold eyes staring at him. Yuan Ling. Every time he made a move, Yuan Ling would always keep a close eye on him. After about 10 minutes, Yuan Ling could not help but ask, "What sword technique are you training in? Can you tell me?" His voice was still cold. Long Fei ignored her and laughed. "Who are you? Why should I tell you? Are you familiar with me? I can't see a woman who pretends to be cold in my life." With such a high and mighty attitude, Long Fei really couldn't bear to see it happen. Yuan Ling was very beautiful, the #1 beauty in the outer sect of Xianjian sect, the goddess in the eyes of countless of young men. In the outer sect of Xianjian sect, she could have anything she wanted. But here, in front of Long Fei, she suddenly realized that all of her halos were gone. Hearing Long Fei's reply, she was slightly unhappy in her heart and had suffered a blow. Even though, in Xianjian sect, she could have anyone do whatever they wanted for her, but she would never rely on anyone else. She relied on herself for everything. She believed that if a woman wanted to control her own fate, she would only need a single path to become stronger. She also trained in the sword arts. However, she had never seen the kind of sword technique that Long Fei trained in, especially that sword intent. It was an incomparably shocking realm that she was unable to reach. Thus, she really wanted to know what sword technique Long Fei trained in. Zhou Tianxiao was slightly angered and wanted to explode, but he resisted. He thought in his heart, "Brat, let's see how you're still going to be so arrogant later on." Half an hour passed. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The entire first level of Thunder Dragon Temple Secret realm trembled violently. Niudahai's first reaction was an earthquake. Yuan Ba did not have any reaction and did not even have a change in expression as he continued to attack the wolf. Long Fei's aura moved. It was also at this time Yan Huang ancestor suddenly said, "It's a pack of wolves. Run." His perception was countless times stronger than Long Fei's, so he was able to sense the wolves in an instant. "Wolves? Run." Long Fei grinned and muttered to the Yan Huang ancestor, "This dragon's young master's dictionary does not contain the word escape, not to mention the wolves. Even if the entire Thunder Dragon Temple secret realm was filled with monsters, he would not run. Where can I find such a good place to level up? Why did it drop such a good item after running?" Soul Lock Chain possessed the attribute of Soul Shock, adding on to the fact that his own refining techniques had fused with the fire essence of the 9th layer. What kind of chemical reaction would the combination of fire and Soul Shock come up with? He really wanted to know. Long Fei wanted to refine a weapon. The more Soul Lock Chain, the better. Long Fei stopped Yuan Ba with a step and said solemnly, "There are wolves up ahead." Zhou Tianxiao's face revealed a pleased look and thought in his heart, "It looks like Zhou Tong succeeded. Hee hee. Kid, let's see how you will face the wolf pack. Don't stop. Do you know how to open a path? Hurry up and open a path. Don't waste this young master's time." Zhou Tianxiao said proudly, "Yuan Ba, are you deaf? Didn't you hear what I said? I'll let you lead the way." Yuan Ba moved his body and walked forward. Long Fei tried her best to hold him back, but it was completely out of the question. This guy's power was too strong. His clothes were instantly torn apart. Long Fei was dragged by Yuan Ba for a few meters. In terms of physical strength, Long Fei and Yuan Ba were on completely different levels. He was only using the godly force on his right arm, but Yuan Ba should have only gotten all the godly force in his body, so much that he even had some kind of godly force blood lineage. However, this was only Long Fei's guess. Yuan Ba did not stop and rushed into the darkness. Long Fei turned around and glanced at Zhou Tianxiao. Seeing the pleased look on his face, it was clear that he was the culprit behind the wolf pack. Equals semi/floating life plus. Zhou Tianxiao sneered and said, "What are you looking at? Why aren't you clearing the path? If you don't want to open a path, then scram out of the secret realm." Niu Dahai, are these your people? Can you do it? If it's no good, then don't embarrass yourself here. The corner of Long Fei's eyes darkened slightly as he clenched his fists tightly. The fierce footsteps of the wolves had already arrived. Turning around, Long Fei charged into the darkness. Chapter 78_8419/2356558. There are limits to one's patience. There are limits to one's patience. Obviously, Long Fei's patience was already on the verge of collapsing. If he wasn't worried about Yuan Ba being injured, he would have really killed Zhou Tianxiao first. To him, Yuan Ba was very important because, from the very beginning, a system notification rang out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the quest. Mission: submit Yuan Ba. Level: time 1 month. Reward: 100,000 points experience, 10,000 true Chi-S, 1,000 points. Obtaining an S-rank score on the quest will result in a free lottery. This was the mission that Long Fei requested when he saw Yuan Ba outside the secret realm. Leave the mission alone and don't talk about it. A person like Zhou Tianxiao was not even worthy of being of service to him like this. Furthermore, in front of Zhou Tianxiao, he was not even comparable to a dog. Along the way, on top of killing the wolf, Long Fei had been sharing in the attack on Yuan Ba's behalf. However, the system did not seem to have any prompting sounds, nor did it have any changes. His intimacy was still, Yuan Ling followed up, but he was blocked by Zhou Tianxiao and said, "It's dangerous in front of junior sister apprentice. Let's wait here, wait for them to clean up before we go over." Yun Qin also followed. "Senior sister, that's right, let's just listen to senior fellow apprentice Tian Xiao." Niu Dahai contemptuously said, "You don't have seed." Finished. He stepped into the darkness and shouted, "Boss, I'm coming." Yuan Ling looked coldly at Zhou Tianxiao and said, "Did you get Zhou Tong to draw the wolf pack?" Huh. Zhou Tianxiao was startled for a moment and immediately replied, "No, why would I attract wolves? It's not like it would benefit me at all." Humph. Yuan Ling gave a cold snort and said coldly, "Get out of my way." Finished. Her body struck, knocking Zhou Tianxiao to the side and then rushing him out. Yun Qin looked at the Yuan Ling inside the darkness and said slightly, "Brother Zhou, what do we do now?" Zhou Tianxiao's eyes flashed with anger. He looked at the dark and cold thing in the darkness and said, "Scoundrel, you don't care about giving me face, right? All right, then I'll show you my methods." He had lost patience. Immediately, Zhou Tianxiao said in a low voice, "Where's the thing that I asked you to prepare?" Yun Qin's expression turned cold and said, "Senior fellow apprentice Tianxiao, do you really want to do this?" Zhou Tianxiao sneered and said, "Yun Qin, don't you want to obtain an Earth stage magic weapon? With this magic weapon, you will be able to pass the examination and enter the inner sect. This is your only chance." Yun Qin's eyes immediately became resolute, and he said, "I know what to do." Ha ha ha. Zhou Tianxiao laughed wildly in his heart and said secretly, "Yuan Ling, oh Yuan Ling, I gave you a chance. You do not know how to cherish it. If that's the case, then don't blame me for being ruthless And when you become my woman, you will know that I am powerful, and you will not leave me. Rumble, rumble. The entire passageway was filled with wolves, their green eyes emitting a cold light. Moreover, Long Fei looked through the system at the pack of wolves and saw a dazzling golden light shining from the back of the pack. He became excited. There's a boss! Niu Dahai rushed forward, looked at the densely packed pack of wolves, and said, Boss, how do we fight? There's too many of them. Let's go. There were too many of them. He wasn't a match at all. Long Fei looked at the surrounding topography. There were no available topography. At this time, Yuan Ling also ran over and asked coldly, How do I fight? Huff. Long Fei took a deep breath, looked at the three, and said, Do you believe me? Niu Dahai said, anxiously, Boss, what are you waiting for? Just tell me how to fight it. Long Fei glanced at Yuan Ling coldly replied, Yes. Long Fei also said without hesitation, All three of you, run. Run as fast as you can. Immediately, the three were stunned. Even Yuan Ba, who did not speak much, was stunned. The three of them looked at Long Fei, a little confused. Long Fei said once again, If you guys believe me, then run. Run as fast as you can. Niu Dahai reacted and said, Boss, are you crazy? If they don't have 1,000, then there's at least a few hundred. It's not just one or two of them. Yuan Ling looked at Long Fei, then turned and ran. Long Fei stared at Niu Dahai and said, Believe me, then run quickly. Yuan Ba, you too. Believe me, run. Niu Dahai clenched his fists tightly and also ran out. Yuan Ba was the last one remaining. He stared at Long Fei for a moment, then heavily said 2 words. Be careful. Then, the three of them quickly ran back. Huff. Long Fei let out a breath, looked at the incomparably surging wolf, moved his right hand, and said with a cold grin, Dragon Salyer, come out. Wang. The dragon Salyer landed in Long Fei's hands, releasing a strong killing intent from the blade as its aura surged. The scarlet energy released by the blade was like the burning of a dragon Salyer. In that instant, Long Fei took a step forward, toting skill. Boom! Kneeling on the ground on all fours, he charged into the midst of the pack of wolves like a cannonball. Rumble! A grand execution. Kacha, kacha, kacha. As Long Fei stood amongst the pack of wolves, the dragon Salyer suddenly slashed down. Kill! Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for gaining EXP from killing wolf. True Chi, 800 points. Energy values, 1 point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Soul Lock Chain number 1. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for gaining EXP from killing wolf. True Chi, 800 points. Energy values, 1 point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Soul Lock Chain number 1. The system kept beeping. At the same time, when Long Fei was killing the wolves were also crazily attacking him. Long Fei didn't defend at all. He didn't even activate his shield. It should be known that he didn't have a single piece of protective gear on him right now, but the wolf's attack had done him no harm because he possessed a Class 1 sacred body. The damage from these wolves could not break his defense. Open the skin. Tendon break. Bone splitting. Blood severing. Spirit opening. Gale chop. Swish. Dragon chop. A burst of flame blade chi swept up dozens of wolves, causing Long Fei to move his body and fly into the air, slashing down at them over 200 times. Ding. 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 The system beep was like firecrackers, crackling nonstop. Long Fei continued to kill. Baidu search. Half afloat in addition, he constantly casted skills. As soon as the cooldown time came up, he immediately casted them. Other than using one's own level increase, the level of one's skills were equally important. After an hour, ding, chapter 88_8419/2356559. The system suddenly sounded out. Ding. Congratulations, player. Long Fei, for killing the thousand-headed wolf. You have received the title Wolf Chaser. You have received 1,000 EXP, 1,000 True Chi, and 100 points as a reward. Player Long Fei has increased wolf damage by 15%. Huh. You can even get a special title. Ha ha ha. It's only a single level up in a month's time. Today it has only been 2 hours, and it has already leveled up by half a level. Ha ha ha. There are many copies in the game. The dungeon was filled with experience, making it the best place for players to level. The Thunder Dragon Temple Secret Realm was undoubtedly an instance dungeon, a level instance dungeon. In the future, he would be able to find a direction to level up. They specially searched for such secret pocket dimensions for 3 years. He had to get above the War Emperor and grind Hong Tianjuan's feces out. He had to. Long Fei ignored everything and continued to kill. Having not thought of staying was like being possessed by a devil. If he wasn't crazy, then why would he be crazy? It's been so long, but there's still no sound. That savage must have died inside. Zhou Tianxiao said disdainfully, but in his heart he was extremely pleased and thought to himself, "Brat, this is the result of going against me." A group of people were hiding in a secret room. Zhou Tianxiao's face was full of pride. Niu Dahai shouted, "Zhou Tianxiao, did you get Zhou Tong to draw that group of wolves?" Zhou Tianxiao's eyes moved. The War Elder's aura from his body burst forth, instantly crushing Niu Dahai, and shouted, "Niu Dahai, don't think that I won't dare to touch you just because you have a treasure map of the 2nd level of the secret realm. Don't spout nonsense here without evidence. I, Zhou Tianxiao, am not the type of person who likes to scheme." Niu Dahai's cultivation was not as good as Zhou Tianxiao's. The crushing pressure was unbearable to behold. However, Niu Dahai was also a tough nut to crack. He shouted, "If you have the guts, just kill me. If you don't dare, don't act smug in front of me. This is just trying to be more noble in front of Yuan Ling, junior sister apprentice, right?" It had been seen through. Zhou Tianxiao's forehead turned sinister. His eyes flashed with killing intent. It was also at this time Yun Qin stepped forward. "Everyone, don't be angry. Senior fellow apprentice Sky, roar, do you know if there are any other paths that can lead to the next level?" At the same time, Yun Qin walked up to Yuan Ling, who was standing outside the door waiting for him, and said, "Senior sister Yuan Ling, he will definitely not be able to return. With that many wolves, even an expert of the War Elder will not be able to defeat them. Let's ask senior fellow apprentice Tian Xiao to think of another way, and see if there are any other ways." Zhou Tianxiao took a step forward and said indifferently, "Yuan Ling, he is just a savage. Why must he be curious about the cultivation technique he cultivates? My Zhou family has all kinds of sword techniques. Next time you come with me back to the Zhou family, not to mention the earth-ranked sword technique. Even my Zhou family has a lot of heaven-ranked sword techniques. They are much stronger than the trash sword techniques he cultivates." Yuan Ling's ice-cold gaze did not move at all. Her cultivation was not as good as Zhou Tianxiao's, but her comprehension in the way of the sword was much stronger than Zhou Tianxiao's. Just Long Fei's method of unsheathing the sword was not heaven-ranked sword, but rather a divine-ranked sword. Suddenly, Zhou Tianxiao slapped his thigh and said, "I thought of it. There is another passage that can lead to the 2nd floor's entrance." Yun Qin immediately said, "Senior sister, look, senior fellow apprentice Sky, Roar still has a way. It doesn't matter if there is some power in this world. Sometimes we need to rely on our brains. Zhou Tianxiao immediately said, "There is another way. Follow me." Finished. Zhou Tianxiao then walked out. Yun Qin immediately followed and turned to look at Yuan Ling, Niu Dahai, and Yuan Ba. The three of them did not move at all. Zhou Tianxiao tried to curry favor with, "Junior sister apprentice Yuan Ling, what's wrong with you? Didn't you always want a lightning attribute magic weapon? The second floor might very well have one. Let's go down and look." Yuan Ling glanced at the darkness before walking out. Zhou Tianxiao laughed complacently. Then his gaze locked onto Yuan Ba and directly kicked him hard. "You dog slave, you actually dare to disobey my orders. You're courting death, right?" Yuan Ba dropped to the ground with a kick. There was no change in his expression. Zhou Tianxiao didn't wait for him to get up before ferociously kicking him again. "Don't forget that your dog life belongs to my Zhou family. If it weren't for my grandfather pitifully giving you a mouthful of food, you would have already starved to death." Humph! Yuan Ba crawled up from the ground and followed him out. Zhou Tianxiao looked at Niu Dahai coldly and laughed. "Senior fellow apprentice Niu, please? You didn't expect him to come back, did you? Stop dreaming. He's already dead. Is there any need for you to wait any longer? Don't tell me you don't want Thunder Dragon Temple's treasures." Niu Dahai clenched his fists and thought, "Boss, I'm sorry." Then he also went out. He finally knew why Long Fei wanted them to leave first. He wanted to block the wolf by himself and buy time for them. Facing so many wolves, Long Fei simply could not resist. How could he possibly block it? Niu Dahai's heart was full of debt, but now, just as Zhou Tianxiao said, not a single sound came out from the darkness. Very clearly, Long Fei was dead. Zhou Tianxiao looked at the dark and cold smile. "You dog, this is what happens to you the most, isn't it?" "Ha ha ha." Finished. Zhou Tianxiao walked away. Long Fei." Huff, huff, huff. Hoo 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 hoo. Long Fei leaned against the wall and breathed heavily. Looking at the Wolf King that was dozens of meters away, his arms trembling, he said, "What a strong power." Icefire called out, "Master, let me do it. I'll spray him to death with a single breath." Xiao Bai also said, "Master, let me do it. I have leveled up now. I am already level 4. Yan Huang Ancestor also asked, "Brat, why did you do this?" The Wolf King's attack is more than 10 times stronger than an ordinary wolf. Your saint body has only been condensed for a month, and it's still not mature enough. Right now, you can't defend against the Wolf King's attack. The three of them told Long Fei not to fight to the death. This wolf's level was already level 6 demon beast. Very powerful. It was not a problem for a grade 1 saint body to block the attacks of ordinary wolves, but it was of no use to the Wolf King. Long Fei grinned and said, "I can't always rely on you guys. I want to become stronger on my own. Even if I have to face the challenge, I will still jump over. Because floating life, table of contents, no windows, A++ when he faces Hong Tianjun 3 years from now. He will have to rely on himself to defeat him. It must be his own strength." Hong Tianjun. The mountain was pressing down on Long Fei's heart. He was risking his life to become stronger. Long Fei dragged the incomparably heavy dragon Salyer and walked up once more as he shouted solemnly, "Come, let's duel. Chapter 98_8419/2356560." There was only one way to increase battle experience. There was only one way to increase battle experience. They were battling nonstop. Only in a battle of life or death could one constantly break through and surpass oneself. He could also unleash the potential in his body on the border of life and death. A teleport. Shwa. Long Fei moved, and instantly appeared beside the Wolf King, used the blade as a sword, and used the sword drawing arts. The dragon Salyer moved. A fierce stab. The Wolf King roared. The power of the level 6 demon beast was not hidden at all. It moved its body, and the extremely thick chain on its body pierced towards Xiang Longfei like a snake spitting out its tongue. Not dodging. No retreat. Broken sword style. Kill. With a slash from the dragon Salyer, several chains were snapped off. To the side of the dragon Salyer, it suddenly moved forward and retracted its beast. The divine power on his right arm burst out. Right arm's divine power. Boom. A fist struck out explosively, and with a bang, it sent the Wolf King flying. A damage with 5 digits also appeared above its head. However, Long Fei was also sent flying by the lightning chains on the Wolf King's body. One of his ribs was broken. The pain was unbearable. Long Fei raised his head and swallowed a healing pellet, and at the same time swallowed a handful of dragon spirit pellets. He smacked his fist down. Again. Moonlit step. Shwa. Long Fei landed in midair and hugged both of his fists. Mountain hit fist. The shadow of the large power King Kong ape superimposed over Long Fei's body. Boom. It landed directly on the head of the Wolf King. The Wolf King's body sank slightly. The moment Long Fei landed, his fists were like hammers that crashed into the ground, sending the gigantic Wolf King flying. His hands suddenly clawed at the air. In this lightning-like instant, unparalleled mode, activate. Shwa. After unleashing his double attribute strength, Long Fei grabbed onto the dragon Salyer with both of his hands. Dragon chop, whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk. In just a few seconds, Long Fei had already unleashed over 280 slashes, and bright red damage continued to erupt above the Wolf King's head. After the dragon chop ended, Long Fei did not stop. His 4 limbs spread out in the air, and with a gulp of his throat, his body flew out like a cannonball, heavily smashing down. Toting skill. A grand execution. Bam! The Wolf King was sent flying and crashed into a wall. The wall cracked open, and the Wolf King leaned against a wall as it looked at the human before it. It couldn't understand. Why can't I, a human from the War Chief realm, beat him? He was a Wolf King. But he was the guardian of the first floor of the Thunder Dragon Temple secret realm. It refused to accept this outcome. However, it was useless. Long Fei gasped for breath as he dragged his dragon Salyer and walked over step by step to stand beside the Wolf King. The dragon Salyer raised it above his head and slashed down heavily. Crack! The Wolf King's head was chopped off. At this moment, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Wolf King, for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi point, and energy values point. Release your striking attribute. This time, Long Fei did not hesitate. After speaking, he stepped forward and directly fell onto the ground, leaning on the Wolf King as he panted heavily and muttered, "This old master is complaining." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Wolf King Blood Vein. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Soul Lock Chain. 100. Congratulations to player Long Fei for gaining Wolf King's Guardian. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the Xianming Sword Sheath. Huh. There are only these few items. This is too much, isn't it? Long Fei unhappily retorted. Other than the first berserk, the other striking attributes were incomparably ferocious. This time, there were only 4 things. Ding! The Wolf King Blood Vein was absorbed by the Dragon Salyer. Ding! The Dragon Salyer has fused with the Wolf King Blood Vein. When meeting a Blood Vein, Long Fei didn't need to control himself at all, as it could directly absorb it. He didn't care, since he didn't want this kind of blood vein anyway. The blood vein that I want to fuse with must be a supreme blood vein. And then Long Fei opened up the system and looked. There's no need to look at the soul lock chain. 100 of them dropped. Adding the soul lock chain in the ring, I should be able to create 1 or 2 good things, right? Item, connecting the Wolf King's guardian rank. Semi-artifact description. An expert who possesses a protective power and is capable of activating the fury of the Wolf King, causing the War Emperor realm to become dizzy for a second. 1 activation requires 24 hours of cooldown. The guardian of the Wolf King had the shape of a wolf tooth, sharp and powerless, hiding the savage aura of the Wolf King. Ding! Do you want to wear it? Long Fei was startled. I never thought that it would actually be a semi-artifact. With a stun skill, what a great thing. Wear it. The idea moved, and Long Fei's neck was adorned with a wolf fang. It was extremely ferocious. Item, Xian Ming Sword Sheath Grade. Divine level description, Xian Ming Sword Sheath. Without any description or other attributes, Long Fei immediately scolded. Fuck you if you want to explode, then release your sword. What's wrong with you bringing a sword box? What the heck? Long Fei took another look at the Xian Ming sword sheath of the space ring and immediately became stupefied. A coffin? A huge sarcophagus with ancient runes carved onto it lay there quietly. Long Fei thought he had seen wrongly, and the idea started to inspect it. Exactly. The Xian Ming sword sheath was a coffin. Motherf asterisk her, what the hell is going on? Long Fei was furious. I don't need to say anything more about a broken sword sheath, but this F asterisk king sword sheath is a coffin. This, or was it the holy artifact coffin? Long Fei looked up 45 degrees and cursed, System your ass. At this time, Yen Huang Ancestor's expression became a little nervous. His aura revolved around the Xian Ming sword sheath as he muttered, Oh my God, that fellow actually still has something left in the Sky Martial Continent. How unexpected. Ancestor, have you seen this coffin before? Long Fei asked. Yen Huang Ancestor shook his head. I have not, but I have heard that the profound God is also a supreme expert in the Chaos realm. His strength is still weaker than mine. Before he entered the Chaos realm, no one knew where he had gone to, from which plane he had entered the Chaos realm. So he was actually someone from the Sky Martial Continent. Don't underestimate this sword sheath. The power it possesses is even stronger than your Tyrant Profound sword from last time, the Yellow Springs Divine Sword. If you can find the Xian Ming sword and insert the sword into the sword sheath, then it would be very powerful. If you are lucky and are able to fuse the Xian Ming sword's will, then you are very lucky. Baidu's sister-in-law, a half. Floating life strongest upgrade system. The profound god is the sword god in Chaos realm. Long Fei muttered, From what you said, didn't I get some good stuff? Yen Huang Ancestor laughed excitedly. This thing, very cool. The 10th chapter was updated on Monday by 85 chapters, and every day was updated by 10 chapters. Some people thought it was slow, but I was already exhausted. In addition, they were still 100 or so away from exploding one more chrysanthemum. Brothers, swipe the mace and the monthly tickets will explode. 8_8419/2356561. Didn't believe others. However, Yen Huang Ancestor's words could not be trusted. Although this old fellow liked to brag, there were times when he was quite reliable. The matter of the Xian Ming sword sheath definitely did not lie to him. Moreover, Long Fei could also feel that the elementary form of the sword spirit that the spirit gathering pearl had refined was excited. Obviously, this sword sheath was not of ordinary quality. And then, Long Fei said, excitedly, Then what are we waiting for? Let's quickly go to the second floor. according to the rules set in the game. If this was an instance dungeon, there would be a guardian boss on the first level, a guardian boss on the second level, a guardian boss on the third, and a guardian boss on the fourth level. If the first level could reveal the sword sheath, then the second level might reveal the Xianming sword. Ha ha! Long Fei laughed, then turned and ran into the darkness. Half an hour later. Holy **T. Lost. Long Fei was stupefied. He couldn't find Niu Dahai and the others at all, nor could he find them at the exit when he went back. Long Fei went out and looked, but he still did not find them. It looks like Zhou Tianxiao lost me. Long Fei pondered for a moment, then went back into the secret realm. The idea asked, Xiao Bai, can you feel their auras? Xiao Bai shook his head and said, I can't sense it, but it might not be on this level anymore. He entered the second level. Long Fei's heart tensed up. His movements are really fast. Long Fei wasn't worried at all. No matter how big the secret realm was, there would always be a limit. As long as he carefully searched, he would definitely be able to find the entrance to the second floor. Regarding this Thunder Dragon Temple secret realm, Long Fei had to go down. Long Fei slowly simulated something in his mind. Zhou Tianxiao must have taken another route. My way of killing the wolf pack is definitely wrong. When they reached the fork in the road, Long Fei would stop, and his brain would operate like a computer as he calculated. Suddenly, he saw some gravel at a fork in the road. A mark for me? Long Fei walked in the direction of the shattered rocks, and along the way, he constantly found broken rocks. He thought to himself, it should be a sign. Thunder Dragon Temple Secret Realm's second floor. Zhou Tianxiao coldly snorted, Senior Fellow Apprentice Niu, what are you doing? Do you know the way or not? This is already the third time I've brought you to a dead end. Niu Dahai was stalling for time. He was very familiar with the map to the second level. Even with his eyes closed, he knew the way there. However, once he reached the entrance to the third floor, Zhou Tianxiao would definitely make his move. And he needed to find a place to escape before that, or a place that could kill Zhou Tianxiao. And then again, in his heart, he believed that Long Fei was still alive. He had left marks throughout the entire journey that as long as Long Fei saw him, he would definitely follow behind. Niu Dahai laughed simple-mindedly. Junior brother Tianxiao, why are you so anxious? The treasure map was destroyed by me. I don't remember it well, and it is normal for people to go the wrong way. Why the rush? Zhou Tianxiao smiled slightly. Senior Fellow Apprentice Niu, stop stalling for time. It's useless to stall for time. I have plenty of time to waste with you. Ha ha! Niu Dahai laughed. In the blink of an eye, Niu Dahai pointed to the other passage and said, this should be the right place. Zhou Tianxiao kicked his leg onto Yuanba's body and said, clear the way, what are you waiting for? You damn dog, what have you been looking back at? You're not thinking about that wild man, are you? You're not thinking about that barbarian coming to save you, are you? Ha ha ha. He was eaten by wolves a long time ago. I'm afraid he's going to turn into **T now. Zhou Tianxiao laughed complacently. Yuanba crawled up from the ground and slowly walked into the dark passage. His body was covered in wounds, and blood flowed profusely from them. The monsters on this level are not wolves, but zombies. These hairy zombies have 2 times the attack power of wolves and are very difficult to deal with. Hurry up, dog. Zhou Tianxiao scolded. 1 hour later, Niu Dahai stopped at a fork in the road and said, wait, let me think, should I go to the left or right? At this time, Yuan Ling walked over and coldly said, Senior Fellow Apprentice Niu, you just have to lead the way. If anyone dares to touch you, I will definitely not sit back and do nothing. She also knew what Niu Dahai was worried about. Niu Dahai looked at Yuan Ling, laughed lightly, and said, I really forgot a little, let me think about it. Think so? All right, I'll give you time to think about it. Zhou Tianxiao sat on the ground and looked at Yun Qin, his gaze moving. Yun Qin nodded his head and said, Everyone should be tired. Why not rest here for a bit? Senior sister, drink some water. Yun Qin handed a water bottle over. Yuan Ling passed the kettle to Niu Dahai and said, Senior fellow apprentice Niu, drink first. Yun Qin and Zhou Tianxiao's eyes immediately tensed up. Niu Dahai shook his head. I'm not thirsty, you go ahead and drink. Huff. Zhou Tianxiao exhaled and said with a sneer, Senior fellow apprentice Niu, you should think about which road you should take. Yuan Ling picked up the kettle, raised his head, and took a sip. It was also at this moment Zhou Tianxiao began to laugh, and the corner of his mouth revealed a trace of an evil and lustful smile as he thought to himself, Little bitch, we'll see how noble you are later. Ha ha ha. 3 minutes later, Zhou Tong came out from the darkness, his head covered in sweat. Senior fellow apprentice, zombies, zombies, many zombies. Niu Dahai's eyes turned sinister. He was secretly excited. The chance is here. From the darkness, the sound of zombies continuously attacking Yuan Ba got closer and closer. At this moment, Niu Dahai's footsteps moved, and he ran towards the right. Zhou Tianxiao immediately sneered. Senior fellow apprentice Niu, where do you want to run off to? Yuan Ling's body lightly swayed, and his vision started to blur. He stared at Yun Qin and asked, What did you put in the water? You. After which, he staggered and fell to the ground. Niu Dahai had already run away, but seeing that Yuan Ling had fallen, he could not suppress his anger. With a step back, he shouted, Zhou Tianxiao, aren't you being too despicable? Ha ha ha. Zhou Tianxiao laughed proudly and said, Despicable? Is this considered despicable? I can be even more despicable. Finished. Zhou Tianxiao walked to Yuan Ling's side and helped her up, ripping off the clothes on her body in one go. Yuan Ling revealed a pink undergarment as 2 big white rabbits swayed from side to side under the undergarment. A perfect body, Zhou Tianxiao said in shock. Junior sister apprentice Yuan Ling, I already have no patience with you. I will not give you face. If that's the case, he. Then I can only use this move. Don't worry, I will properly treat you with care. Ha ha ha. Niu Dahai said angrily, Zhou Tianxiao, you are a beast. Zhou Tianxiao laughed coldly and said, Fatty Niu, do you think you can survive this? Zhou Tong. As soon as he finished, Zhou Tong, who had already been waiting for a while, suddenly made his move. He had to move quickly, and with Niu Dahai's full attention on Yuan Ling, there was no hurry to defend. The blade was pierced through the right side of the chest by Zhou Tong, causing blood to spurt out. Zhou Tong roared, Fatty Niu cool? Ha ha ha. It was also at this moment a black shadow attacked like lightning. Chapter 18_19/2356562. Don't dare to touch you. Don't dare to touch you. And now, your father has endured you all the way. Is it good now? Ha ha ha. Zhou Tong laughed proudly. He had long since could not resist and attacked Niu Dahai. Now that he had finally succeeded, he was naturally incomparably excited. It was at this moment. Shwa. From the top of his head to the base of his thigh, there was a split line that was incomparably painful. His body swayed as he looked at Zhou Tianxiao and said, Big brother, I'm still in pain. Before he could finish his words, his body was split into 2. The golden cut line directly split into 2 halves and fell down. The moment his body fell, a person stood behind him, Long Fei, who held the dragon salyer in his hand. Nyo Dahai endured the pain and said excitedly, "Ha ha, boss, I knew that you wouldn't die that easily. How could the boss who could stop my Nyo Dahai die?" He was incredibly excited. And then Nyo Dahai continued, "Boss, junior sister apprentice planted the bewitching powder. Her clothes were torn apart, revealing her snow-white skin. The two white rabbits were still bulging, emitting temptations. Long Fei looked at it, and his eyes sunk. You want to pick up girls, so that's fine, but using this method, can you still be considered a man?" The muscles at the corners of his eyes twitched. He pushed Yuan Ling over to Yun Qin and said while staring at him, "It's good that you didn't die. Today, I'll let this trash see what's called the power of the War Elder Realm." The long sword moved. A sword pierced Xiang Longfei. Nyo Dahai reminded him, "Boss, be careful of his sword." The sword glowed with a green light. Clearly it was poisonous. Long Fei sneered and said, "If not for relying on the map on your body to enter the second floor, you would have died long ago." From the moment Zhou Tianxiao punched and kicked Yuan Ba, Long Fei was not in a good mood. He was even more unhappy in the first level. Now, Yuan Ling was such a pretty girl, yet she used such a despicable method. Thinking about it, could it be that those pretty girls in his previous life lost their most precious thing because of this method? It was getting out of hand. Long Fei moved. Phew! The saber was breathing. Then the dragon salyer slashed the air. Clang! The sword in Zhou Tianxiao's hand was like a tree branch, broken in an instant. The long sword fell to the ground, and green, viscous liquid engulfed the thick rock as if it was sulfuric acid. In the blink of an eye, a deep hole had appeared in the rock. It was incomparably poisonous. The instant the long sword was chopped in half, teleportation. Shwa! The dragon salyer moved, sword raise style. With a move of the long blade, a scarlet-red blade, aura directly swept Zhou Tianxiao up into the air, and then Long Fei bellowed, "Moonlit step!" It directly landed in front of Zhou Tianxiao. With both hands on the saber, he slashed down crazily, sending chunks of flesh flying out. First, it was his right foot, but there was no flesh at all, only bones. Then there was the left side of his body, where all the flesh had been shaved off. Half a skeleton, and the other half a meat. It was like a work of art. Moreover, and this was done in an instant, so much so that Zhou Tianxiao did not even have time to scream. This sort of despicable person should be hacked into pieces. Long Fei kept his dragon salyer and coldly said, "Is that good?" Then, as his body fell, he no longer looked at Zhou Tianxiao. Instead, he walked to Yun Qin's side and coldly said, "Scram!" Yun Qin's body was trembling. She did not dare to look at Long Fei's eyes and directly retreated. When she saw the half of the skeleton in front of Zhou Tianxiao, her face turned pale, and she immediately screamed, "Ah!" Zhou Tianxiao also felt the pain. He fell down and looked at his own half-skeleton as he howled like a pig that was being butchered. It was too painful. Moreover, this pain was not only from his physical body, but also from the fear and pain of watching him become a skeleton. "Big Sea Cow, take her away first." When Long Fei said this, he took off his jacket and placed it on Yuan Ling's body, even though her cold expression made him feel uncomfortable. However, the moment she followed him out to battle with the wolves, Long Fei's opinion of her changed. No matter what, Long Fei still needed help in this instant's dungeon. Nyo Dahai supported Yuan Ling and asked, "Boss, where are you going?" Long Fei looked into the depths of the darkness and said, "I want to save Yuan Ba." The mission continued. He had to save this Luby, and the more Long Fei liked this Luby, the more he liked this Luby. Nyo Dahai did not stop him and said, "Boss, be careful. The zombies here are much stronger than the wolves in the first level." "Understood." Long Fei looked at Zhou Tianxiao, who was still screaming crazily, and rushed into the darkness. A few seconds later, a large group of zombies surrounded Yuan Ba. They frantically attacked, and Yuan Ba had already turned into a bloody figure. His face was pale, but the power he released did not weaken at all. It was still crazily attacking. Grabbing a zombie, he struck it with all his might, ignoring all its defenses and the pain in its body. It was as if its body wasn't his. A thin line between life and death. Through the system, Long Fei discovered that there was only a sliver of HP left on top of Yuan Ba's head, and it was about to hit the bottom, which meant that Yuan Ba was going to die soon. Ah! Long Fei roared. The idea moved. Wrath of the Wolf King. The wolf fang on his neck released a burst of power, and a huge wolf king appeared in the sky, roaring at the zombies. Soundwave attack. Roar. Buzz. All the zombies within a radius of 10 meters were shocked. He was stunned. Long Fei moved like lightning and stopped Yuan Ba, who was still in the midst of attacking. His right arm moved as he shouted, "You're crazy!" He heavily dragged it away. She directly dragged him out of the zombie trap. And regardless of whether he agreed or not, she put a healing pill in his mouth and said, "Your life is mine now, not the Zhou family. Listen well for Laozi. Now, I want you to live." At this moment, Yuan Ba was still struggling to get up, but he was firmly pressed down by Long Fei. Hearing Long Fei's words, the corners of his eyes became moist. A tear fell. Woo, woo, woo. After the dizziness ended, the group of zombies charged toward Xiang Long Fei like a group of zombie. Too many! Long Fei moved his body and slashed 7 times, hurricane cut. He blew some of the zombies in front of him up, and then carried the over 400-kilogram Yuan Ba on his back, and quickly ran out. It was not because he didn't want to kill the zombies, but because he couldn't kill them now with the current situation. Had to immediately save them. Teleport. Bang, bang, bang. Long Fei's footsteps were as fast as lightning, and he felt the aura of Yuan Ba, who was on his back, become weaker and weaker as he continuously said, "Luby, wake me up. Sister-in-law, 1-/ plus health, strongest upgrade system. Don't die. Don't die. You are now one of my Long Fei's men. Please don't die." Ah. Chapter 28_8419/2356563. Long Fei used all of his strength and really didn't want to see Yuan Ba die here. If it wasn't for Zhou Tianxiao, Yuan Ba wouldn't be like this. Long Fei used all of his strength and really didn't want to see Yuan Ba die here. If it wasn't for Zhou Tianxiao, Yuan Ba wouldn't be like this. Now that he thought about it, being sliced into pieces was already a blessing for Zhou Tianxiao. He couldn't help but wish he could give him another few thousand cuts. Putting aside the system, Long Fei also wanted to save him. 3 minutes later, Long Fei arrived at the junction, and those zombies were still crazily rushing over. Niu Dehai shouted loudly, "Boss, this way, this way!" Long Fei changed his direction and rushed into a room not far away. The group of zombies, on the other hand, sniffed the air and smelled the fresh blood. Zhou Tianxiao shouted loudly, "Don't come over! Don't come over!" Yun Qin was so scared that his face turned pale. He immediately pushed Zhou Tianxiao down to the ground and shouted, "Brother Zhou, you're about to die. If you want to eat, then I'll eat you." With that, he ran. Zhou Tianxiao fell to the ground and shouted, "Come back! Come back!" Junior sister apprentice, Yun Qin, "Don't you want the Earth Stage magic weapon?" "No, no, let me give you the Heaven Stage magic weapon. Come and take me with you." Yun Qin's voice sounded out from within the darkness. "You should just leave it to yourself." Ah! Zhou Tianxiao, a zombie, with its head twisted off. It started to gnaw on it like holding a watermelon. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Zhou Tianxiao for obtaining 100 experience points, True Qi 100 points, Energy Values 100 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Bewitching Powder. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Cure Pill 3. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 1 Spirit Stone. A lot of things dropped. Although it was not a good thing, it was something that Long Fei needed urgently. He took out the aphrodisiac medicine and gave it to Niu Dahai, saying, "This is the antidote I just searched Zhou Tianxiao's body for. Hurry up and give it to her." At the same time, he also took out Cure Pill S and fed them to Yuan Ba. This kind of cure pill was refined and given to him by the masters of Xianjian sect. 3 pellets were stuffed into Yuan Ba's mouth. With a move of Long Fei's palm, the true qi rushed out and stuck onto Yuan Ba's chest, causing the idea to move slightly as it entered Yuan Ba's sea of consciousness and said, "Your life is now mine." True qi activated the cure pill. Yuan Ba's body was resisting, but after hearing what Long Fei said, he started to slowly absorb it again. Once the cure pill entered his body, the bloody groove above his head slightly widened, and his life was finally saved. Long Fei sat on the ground as he panted heavily and muttered to himself, "Madman, fool, huff huff." Yuan Ba was unconscious. 2 streams of tears trickled from the corners of his eyes. No one had ever been so nice to him. Never. In his 10 years in the Zhou family, he had never used a single pill. No matter how severely injured he was, he had never given him a single pill. He didn't resent it. This was because he only remembered the Zhou family's good fortune. If not for the Zhou family's bowl of rice, he would have starved to death on the street. If not for the Zhou family's leftovers over the years, he too would have starved to death. Thus, he had never resented it. He had never refused the orders of the Zhou family. No matter what he did, he would never refuse it, even if he had to die. Just like what happened today. He didn't avoid the group of zombies, but kept on killing them. He kept on fighting, and if he died, he would die. Was he stupid? Pure? It's loyalty? Or something else? He didn't even know it. A few minutes later, a mournful scream rang out. Niu Dahai laughed bitterly and said, "Yun Qin is also dead. I never thought that the Thunder Dragon Temple's secret realm would actually be this powerful. Just the first level's wolves are not enough to deal with him, and now the second level's zombies are even more difficult to deal with. I was still hoping to find 1 or 2 spiritual treasures to revitalize my artifact forging hall, but I didn't expect that." Sigh. Niu Dahai sighed. He had come here in order to find 1 or 2 treasures and then return to the Xianjian sect to revive his artifact forging hall. However, from the looks of it, he didn't even have the confidence to return alive. Huff. Niu Dahai revealed a bitter smile and said to Long Fei, "Boss, what do we do now? In my opinion, let's just forget about it. Even if we enter the 3rd floor. So what? The demonic beasts here are too powerful. It's impossible for us to do that with our strength." Long Fei swallowed a dragon spirit pill, and his true qi recovered 1,500 points. He laughed. "Are you afraid now?" Niu Dahai said, "It's not that we're afraid, it's that we can't do it. If this continues, our lives will be lost here. Moreover, we will only be lost on the 3rd floor without a map." That was the truth. However, Long Fei laughed, "You don't have to worry about the map. I will think of a way." He did not mention that he had the 3rd and 4th layers of the map. Long Fei walked out of the room, listened to the movement, and said, "Those zombies should have calmed down by now. You stay here, I'll go and kill them." Zombie? That was experience. How could Long Fei let it go? He would not let any of the demonic beasts get away. He had to level up. He had to make a breakthrough. he had to defeat Hong Tianjun with absolute strength that could be completely crushed within 3 years, and he had to wash away his shame. Suddenly, Yuan Ling slowly woke up and said weakly, "Count me in." Yuan Ba clenched his fists tightly and said naively, "Count me in too?" Long Fei was startled, then laughed. "Are you all awake?" Yuan Ling stood up, looked at Long Fei, and said gratefully, "Thank you." It was also at this moment a voice came out in Long Fei's mind. Ding! Intimacy +1. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating Intimacy System. You have received 100 experience points, 100 true chi, and 100 points as a reward. Intimacy System? Long Fei was startled and immediately opened the system to check. Intimacy System. Description. Only by turning to a female can intimacy be increased. Description 2. Intimacy 13.0 is the normal stage. Intimacy 30050 is the good stage. Intimacy 5090 is the intimate stage. And intimacy whatever you want to do, you can do whatever you want. Description 3. A special reward is granted when the intimacy has reached 100 points. Objective. Yuan Ling intimacy, 1 difficulty factor. What the hell? As long as my intimacy reaches 90 points, I can do whatever you want. Doesn't that mean anything is fine? If you want to slap someone, you can do so. Wow, what the hell? I want to increase my intimacy. Long Fei's heart started to boil, and he thought to himself, what stage has my intimacy reached with the leopard girl and Jojo? Just thinking about it makes me excited. Seeing the excitement on Long Fei's face, Yuan Ling's eyebrows knitted slightly as he looked at Long Fei with a lustful gaze. And because of Long Fei's lascivious expression, then, ding, 10,000 intimacy. Long Fei was speechless. He looked at Yuan Ling with a wooden face and asked, "What did I do to make you unhappy?" Yuan Ling looked at Long Fei coldly and did not say a word. At this time, ding, Chapter 38_8419/2356564. Intimacy 20. Intimacy 20. Ding. My intimacy is currently at 29 points. If I increase it a little more, there will be an annoying stage. The system sounded out continuously. Long Fei held back the fear in his heart as he thought to himself, I'll endure. And then Long Fei walked out of the room and said, Everyone follow me. I'm going to start a massacre. Just because of a single glance from him and a single sentence, his intimacy had been reduced by 30 points, and even a little more was added to it. Wasn't this still too difficult? Moreover, this was still a difficulty. If it was an S difficulty level or a SSS difficulty level, then wouldn't it be equivalent to ascending to the heavens? Long Fei was still thinking of raising his intimacy to 100 points to see what he could get, and whether or not he could unlock more postures. Now it seemed that the revolution had not yet succeeded, and that comrade still had to work hard. Holding the dragon salyer, he walked in front of a zombie and shouted, Grandson, come. One of the zombies didn't even move. It turned its head and looked at Long Fei, who was standing at the same spot. It suddenly pounced towards him. Die! Long Fei took a step forward, and without waiting for the zombie to fall, he chopped down with his blade. Ding! Bang bang! Shwa! A system notification rang out as the zombie was chopped into 2 halves. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing zombie for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi 1,000 points, energy 1 point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining instant blood number 1. Item, crippled blood description. Artifact forging, alchemy, magic equipment, magic pill. Long Fei looked at the description and thought it should be similar to the soul lock chain S. Continue to kill, Long Fei said, carrying Dragon Salyer. The Dragon Salyer collided with the rocks on the ground, causing sparks to fly out. One step, one move. One slash of slay. Ding. Bang bang. Another critical hit. Long Fei was secretly delighted and started to crazily kill. Yuan Ling caught up to Long Fei and asked curiously, "What kind of blade technique do you cultivate, and why do you have such a strong attack power?" Long Fei ignored him and thought to himself, "I won't say it, I won't say it." Ding. Intimacy +1, ha! Not only that, he even added intimacy, ha ha ha. Women are truly strange creatures. The more you talk about the diminishing of intimacy, the more your intimacy would increase instead of talking about it. However, Long Fei would not say it obediently just because of a little bit of intimacy. He still did not want to say it because he really did not like women who were cold as ice. This kind of woman was also the one that would arouse people's desire the most. And Long Fei was no exception. Kill. With a slash of the blade, a blade aura shot out like a rainbow, sweeping a zombie into the air. Long Fei moved his body, retracted his Dragon Salyer, and struck out with both of his fists. Bam! He was sent flying. It's coming from the left. Without waiting for Long Fei's reaction, Yuan Ba's footsteps were like heavy thunder, blocking Long Fei's left side in a few steps. The zombie's hands cut into his chest like sharp blades, and fresh blood gushed out. "Are you stupid?" Long Fei was anxious. He could have dodged it just now, but he did not expect Yuan Ba to actually use his body to block the attack for him. Yuan Ba didn't have any expression on his face. Long Fei moved his body, and the Dragon Salyer slashed down, cut through the waist. Ding! Congratulations to the player, Long Fei, for killing. The system beep continued to ring. Long Fei killed crazily. It's coming. It's coming. The large wave of zombies are really coming closer. Just follow the plan I proposed just now. Great Ocean Ox, Yuan Ba, you guys are in charge of the meat shield to block these zombies. Yuan Ling, you are the secondary attacker. I am the primary attacker. Long Fei shouted as he ran. Great Sea Ox, Yuan Ba, go. The two of them carried it on their shoulders. Yuan Ling followed closely behind them. His sword moved, and with the energy of thunder and lightning, he stabbed through the head of a zombie. Long Fei looked through the system and was shocked. Critical hit. This woman's comprehension of the sword is not bad. It's just that it's too cold. Long Fei used his blade as a sword, and when a zombie was about to attack Yuan Ba, Long Fei instantly launched an attack, broken sword style. The blood-light saber chi extended for more than 10 meters. With a slash from Long Fei, it crushed everything in its path, causing a large amount of damage. The one in front was also instantly killed. Yuan Ling could not help but ask, "Can't you tell me what sword technique you train in?" "No way," Long Fei said while slashing Ju Tai's nail, his silhouette already rushing towards the group of zombies. He faintly said, "Sword techniques are important, but sword intent is the most important." Boom! The aura in his body exploded forth. Long Fei laughed softly and said, "I've caught your sword. 10,000 swords return to sect. Kill them all." Huff! An arrogant and overbearing aura was released from Long Fei's body, and everything around him trembled. Yuan Ling's sword was also trembling. She was about to fly out of the scabbard. If she did not use a true chi to suppress her, she would fly out. Her expression was even more shocked. Looking at the sword images around Long Fei, she asked in shock, "What sword concept is this?" She had always believed that her comprehension of the sword had reached a very high level, but now, in front of Long Fei, she felt that the sword intent she had comprehended was simply too weak. Kill. Long Fei activated his true chi. The sword chi smashed down like a dragon made of swords, instantly killing all the zombies and the surrounding dozens of zombies. Long Fei fell from the sky, and after the surrounding zombies had all died, the sword mirages all returned to his body one by one. Long Fei was like a sword sheath. Yuan Ling was stupefied. He opened his mouth to say something, but held back. She was completely captivated by Long Fei. He was captivated by the sword intent that Long Fei had comprehended, but it was just that, right now, she still couldn't let go of the arrogance in her heart. Ding! Intimacy +1. Ding! Intimacy +1. The system continuously sounded out, causing Long Fei to burst out laughing. You want to know my sword skills, right? I won't say it, just won't say it. You'll die from anxiety. Continue to kill. He continued to kill. 2 hours later. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at War Chief level 4. Humph! I finally leveled up. In less than a day's time, he broke through the 4th level of War Chief. Suddenly, Xiao Bai suddenly reminded them, Master, there's an extremely vicious aura approaching. Be careful, he's extremely fast. It was also at this time. Long Fei grabbed Yuan Ling's hand and protected her behind him. Everyone be careful. Yuan Ling's hand was struggling, trying to struggle free, but he realized that the strength of Long Fei's hand was extremely strong and was extremely overbearing as he firmly held her back. Yuan Ling was a little angry, but at the same time, he felt that it was kind of sweet. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish, a shadow shot out like lightning, and with a flash of golden light, the boss appeared. Chapter 48_8419/2356565. Bam! Bam! It directly smashed into Long Fei's chest, causing his footsteps to sink as he retreated continuously, and only stopped after knocking onto the wall more than 10 meters away did he stop, spitting out a mouthful of fresh blood. Damn, what a strong power! The pain in his chest felt like it was about to split open. He got up from the ground and reminded everyone be careful. Its back is against the wall. It can fly. It is very fast. In that instant, he saw the stats of the boss through the system. Demonic beast, flying zombie level 6 peak, Lord description, extremely strong physical defense, extremely fast speed, can cause zombie toxins as well as poison skills. Nyo Dahai asked, Boss, are you all right? What's that? Long Fei replied, Flying zombies, you guys be careful. This guy has used fire as poison. At this moment, Yuan Ling leaned on the wall, completely dumbfounded, looking at Long Fei's pale face. Her heart trembled a little. If Long Fei did not protect her just now, she would have been severely injured even if she had not died. Just now, Long Fei had saved her. Looking at Long Fei's serious expression, a peculiar feeling gushed out from her heart. He's really different from other men. He's really different. Ding! Intimacy plus 30 points. Intimacy, 80 points. Huh. Long Fei wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Listening to the system's continuous beeps, he looked at his intimacy, then shuddered. It's already at 80 intimacy. Isn't it entering a good stage now? It's still 10 o'clock. As long as I can reach 90 points, I can do whatever I want. Ha ha ha. If it reaches 100, what special reward will it give? Long Fei's thoughts were a little impure. He had been a virgin in his previous life, so he hadn't experienced anything like pa. There were always troubles in the Fire-Glass City, and there was never a chance for them to get it. Long Fei's Adam's apple tumbled. Suddenly, be careful, it's coming. Before he could finish speaking, a golden light flew out like a bolt of lightning, charging towards Xiang Long Fei once again. While he was sick, he had to take his life. This logic was not only known to Long Fei, but the zombie knew that even though it did not kill Long Fei, it was still severely injured, so the target this time was still Long Fei. Yuan Ba moved. Long Fei's eyes tensed up. Yuan Ba, be careful. At this time, Long Fei did not care anymore, and shouted in his heart, Whoosh Wong! Boom! Letting out the double attribute, the power in Long Fei's arms roared, releasing the power of the mountain hit fist, holding onto the blade with both of his hands. Moonlit step! The moment Long Fei made his move, Yuan Ba's arms exploded. An incomparably strong and pure power burst out. The clothes on the upper half of his body directly burst apart from the muscles on his body. He was an incomparably ferocious existence. He grabbed the flying zombie and flung it away. The power was too terrifying. Long Fei was incomparably shocked. This looby was simply too powerful, and he had not even cultivated much yet. Once the energy and potential in his body is activated, how terrifying would that be? He didn't dare to imagine. The idea moved and shouted, Dragon Salyer, explode with your strength. The entire body of the Dragon Salyer rumbled as it exploded. A brutal aura of slaughter exploded out. The power of the wild mountain devil's blood vein, the power of the blood vein of the deep sea titan, the power of the divine tiger's blood vein. Furthermore, he had just released the energy he had absorbed from the Wolf King blood vein. At this moment, Long Fei's arms trembled uncontrollably. The power within the Dragon Salyer was too terrifying, in addition to its own brutal killing of the dragon god and the might of the dragon blood. All of them exploded. Dragon Spirit Killer. Roar. A dragon spirit shadow was released and roared. The moment Yuan Ba threw the flying zombie out, Long Fei's blade slashed down. The dragon god was furious. The ghosts and gods were startled. The entire Thunder Dragon Temple secret realm was trembling. The flying zombie was cut into two halves. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Flying Zombie, for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi point, and energy values point. Release your striking attribute. Long Fei still did not hesitate, as he said in his heart. The Wolf King dropped its Xian Ming sword sheath, so you should have dropped your Xian Ming sword, right? Explode. Let's go berserk. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Poison Cure Technique. You wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Dark Gold Chainmail damaged. Then, there was no then. I'll fuck your grandpa. Long Fei cursed in his heart. What's the situation? Did I not release my striking attribute just now? Long Fei checked his striking energy value. Just now, it was 100 points. Now it was 0 points. He had clearly already released it. How could nothing burst out? Just a cultivation technique and a tattered chainmail. What was this? Yen Huang Ancestor said lightly. Just now, the energy released by the Dragon Salyer, even if there were holy artifact S, would have been shattered. It's already good enough to have 2 items. Huh. Long Fei felt a shiver in his heart. Could it be that my strength was too strong earlier and caused the thing that was about to explode from the body of the flying zombie to shatter? Finished. Long Fei immediately checked and found that there was indeed a powerful chi powder on the body of the flying sky zombie. Long Fei was on the verge of tears. Heavens, is being too powerful a bad thing? What the heck? Are you playing with me? He checked on the dark golden chainmail. It was a semi-artifact, but because the chainmail had traces of being cut, it had turned into a land-level treasure. Long Fei took it out and said, Yuan Ba, it's for you. Yuan Ba took the chainmail and looked at Long Fei, unable to say a word. Long Fei said apologetically, This land-level treasure, I can't really take it out. Next time I will get you a set of holy artifact spirit treasure. You should wear it now. Niu Dahai and Yuan Ling, who were at the side, were completely dumbfounded. Just now, when Long Fei killed the flying zombies, they were so shocked they couldn't even react. Now, the land-level treasure gave it away just like that, and it seemed like it couldn't even be taken out. Could it be that the land-level treasure were all trash in his eyes? Right now, they did not have a single land-level treasure on them. But Long Fei did not care. Isn't this too much of a blow? Immediately, Niu Dahai hugged onto Long Fei's thigh and said, "Big brother, are there still trash? Give me one. I don't need any land-level treasure. Just one profound ranked land-level treasure. One will do. Caret, half, /float asterisk life." Yuan Ba also walked over and gave the chainmail back and said, "The thing is too valuable. I cannot take it. What's so precious about land-level treasure? Take it when I tell you to. I'll tell you about the holy artifact next time. Only then will it match your status." Long Fei spoke very seriously. He didn't seem to have any intention of bragging at all. In Niu Dahai's heart, Long Fei's image had suddenly become as huge as a mountain. The 5th chapter, the script is gone. This was written out until 2 a.m. yesterday. I have to go to work today, so Haiyang has really done his best to update it. 8_8419/2356566. Yuan Ba should be wearing the holy artifact. Yuan Ba should be wearing the holy artifact. This made him seem even more amazing. Moreover, Long Fei's mission of taming him had not been completed, which made Long Fei a little confused. Logically speaking, Zhou Tianxiao was already dead, and he had also saved Yuan Ba. The mission should have been completed. But no, what exactly was wrong? Long Fei couldn't understand, but Luby brother Yuan Ba, he was definitely going to do it. Moreover, he had even thought of a name. As long as he completed the mission, Long Fei would give Yuan Ba a complete name. Long Fei looked at Niu Dahai and said, "Release me first." Niu Dahai shook his head with all his might and said, "No, I won't let go until you promise to give me a profound ranked spirit treasure." F***CK, a profound ranked spirit treasure can make you do this. You're too unambitious, Long Fei said. He wanted to destroy at least a heavenly ranked spirit treasure. As for a profound ranked spirit treasure, he really did not reveal anything. It was completely inconsistent with his identity. Niu Dahai placed a piece of leather paste onto Long Fei's thigh and said, "I just don't have spirit. I just want a profound ranked spirit treasure. If you don't agree, I won't get up." Agree. Can I agree? Long Fei really had no choice. He had never seen such a shameless person. Niu Dahai hooked his pinky again and said, "Pull the hook." Long Fei, Niu Dahai said while standing there alone, "Hook hanging not to be changed for 100 years. Whoever changes will be the puppy." Then he quickly stamped his seal. Finally, he crawled up while grinning and said, "Boss, you don't know, but I've always wanted a profound ranked magic weapon in my dreams." It was as if a profound ranked spirit treasure was the supreme holy artifact. Long Fei very disdainfully kicked him away and said, "Scram, I don't want to talk to someone as unambitious as you. I have to dream about obtaining a profound ranked spirit treasure. You're too much." Yuan Ling slightly said, "To you, maybe profound ranked spirit treasures are trash, but to us, they are existences comparable to holy artifactus." Niu Dahai also said, "I want to snatch away a yellow ranked magic weapon, not to mention a profound ranked magic weapon. Obtaining a profound ranked magic weapon in the Xianjian sect is extremely difficult. My dream is to have a profound ranked magic weapon in my lifetime, then break it down, understand its structure, and create a set of profound ranked magic weapon myself to bring glory to the artifact forging hall. It was too difficult." Sigh. Niu Dahai revealed a bitter smile, looked at Yuan Ling, and said, Junior sister apprentice Yuan Ling also wants to find a lightning-attributed sword from the Thunder Dragon Temple secret realm. If not, why would he follow a scum like Zhou Tianxiao here? This time, Long Fei was stunned. Looking at the two of them, Long Fei never would have thought that the incomparably powerful sect would actually be so pitiful without even a profound ranked weapon. Think about yourself. A large number of holy artifacts were just swallowed by the Yan Huang ancestor. Moreover, he still had several holy artifacts on him. Dragon Salyer, Yellow Spring's summoning seal, Thunder Dragon Rod, the Xianming sword sheath that just burst out. Compared to them, Long Fei was simply an existence that was above the ninth heaven. Of course, who could be as abnormal as Long Fei? Once it went berserk, the holy artifact would explode forth with a schwa schwa sound. Long Fei muttered, Seems like the sect is different from what I imagined. I thought that everyone had a holy artifact, and that they were all powerful. Niu Dahai laughed bitterly. The Xianjian sect has tens of thousands of people. How can they have so many spirit treasures? If you want to obtain the magic weapon, you must do a mission, live to the death with your exceptional talent. If you get selected by any elder, you will be able to shine. If not, many people will never get a magic weapon in their lives. Yuan Ling said, The sect does have holy artifact, but they are all in the hands of the elders and the sect master. As long as you are strong enough and have great talent, you can obtain anything you want in the sect. If you do not have these two, then you can only rely on yourself. If not for the fact that he wanted to obtain a lightning sword, it was simply impossible for Yuan Ling to follow him here for an adventure. Any warrior's pursuit of magic weapon is limitless. And then again, this world was the same everywhere. The strong were respected. If you want more, there is only one way to become stronger. Long Fei was more and more clear of this point and said slightly, Let's not talk about this. Let's go to the third floor. Huh. Niu Dahai was stunned and said, Boss, are we still going down? There are no maps on the third floor, and there must be even stronger demon beasts. Yuan Ling also looked at Long Fei. Her eyes were also showing signs of leaving. However, Long Fei smiled and said, Great Ocean Ox, don't you want the profound rank magic weapon? Yes. Niu Dahai instantly changed his expression and immediately said, Boss, let's go. Compared to death, he was more afraid of poverty. Niu Dahai pulled Yuan Ba and walked out, touching the dark gold chain armor on Yuan Ba's body. Saliva almost flowing out. Wow, what a good thing, brother Yuan Ba. Will you let me wear it once? Once, just once. Hey, don't run so fast. I'm not going to wear it, okay? Let me touch it a little more. In the darkness, Long Fei looked at Yuan Ling and said slightly, I'll get the lightning-attributed sword that you want as well. Don't worry. As long as I'm here, I'll get you anything you want in this world, including the moon and the sky. She spoke very affectionately. Resurrection. At the same time, the whole corridor was lit up, just like a huge weapons factory. Kill. The sounds of battle continuously sounded out in the sky. The first statue that resurrected held a long spear in hand as it stabbed toward Xiang Long Fei. Also at this time, Long Fei quickly went to the side and looked through the system to check the stats. Demonic beast. Demon statue level 5 description. Each statue has the soul of a disciple of the Thunder Dragon Temple, a mutated soul. Soul seal. Long Fei's heart trembled as he asked, Ancestor, what's the situation with these statues? The Yan Huang ancestor said slightly, It should be some kind of powerful technique, refining the souls of the dead to the seal S in these statues. The moment there is some sort of mechanism, these statues will be resurrected. This cultivation method should be a type of sealing. Moreover, your space ring S9 dragons rising from the sky. That pearl also contains a soul. As for what kind of soul it is, I am not sure. Yen Huang ancestor saw through the souls of the seal S within these sculptures with a glance and muttered, I'm very curious. What secrets are hidden in this secret realm? First, the tomb guardian wolf, then the golden-armored zombies. To think that a sculpture of the soul of the seal would appear here. Just this kind of sealing is an extremely strong existence, able to refine the soul of a dead person. What are they protecting? And that Xian Ming sword sheath, the profound god, was also a disciple of the Thunder Dragon Temple? Or did he come here before? Yen Huang ancestor muttered. Long Fei was forced into a dead end by a statue and said, Don't talk about those useless things. Tell me where its weakness is. Wait a moment. The Yen Huang ancestors Qi moved and immediately said, At the heart area, there's a seal formation at the heart area. It's enough to shatter the seal formation. However, these fellows' defense is much stronger than the flying zombies. You should be careful. As soon as he finished, Long Fei retracted his dragon sallier and moved his right arm, punching out explosively. Boom! A punch pierced through the heart of the statue, instantly shattering it. Yen Huang ancestor was slightly astonished. He said, Good boy, your strength has increased a lot in this period of time. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing statue, for obtaining 1 experience point, true Qi 100 points, energy values 1 point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining evil spirit, number 1, evil spirit. Long Fei opened the system and looked. A lump of black fog was like a ghost, the same as the ghost warrior S back at the Supreme Temple. Should I release it? The Yen Huang ancestor immediately said, Don't release it. The soul lock chain you killed can perfectly lock these evil spirits in. Roar. Another sound wave attack exploded, like the roar of a wolf god, causing the statues to crumble. When Long Fei saw this, he was extremely excited. In just a short month, Xiao Bai and the ice and fire forces had become much stronger. These statues were all 5-level monster S. They could not withstand the attacks from the 2 of them at all. However, those statues crumbled and rolled to the ground. In a short second, they were revived once again, and their HP recovered to 10%. Seems like what the ancestor said is correct. These statues can only be killed after the seal on the heart area is shattered. Instantly, Long Fei bellowed, Xiao Bai, ice and fire, you guys clear the way. You don't have to close the door to the statue of revival. Just leave it to me. Understood. Yes, sir. 1 wolf and 1 dragon rushed out like gods of death. Last time in the Fireglass City, when they were faced with Hong Tianjun, they were unable to retaliate. The feeling of being stomped on was extremely difficult, and to them, it didn't matter if they were stomped on or not, but they could not crush Long Fei. He could only suppress Long Fei. Seeing Hong Tianjun bringing their close sister-in-law, Lu Luoxi, along, they were displeased. Thus, http:// in this month, Long Fei was desperately cultivating, and they were also desperately cultivating. Xiao Bai had vowed that the next time he met Hong Tianjun, he would definitely make him kneel in front of Long Fei and sing a song of conquest. It was the same with fire and ice. Hong Tianjun, just you wait. Chapter 28_8419/2356568. Why isn't he back yet? Why isn't he back yet? It's been almost 2 hours. Why isn't he back yet? Yuan Ling was a little worried. Niu Dahai's heart was thumping. He did not dare think about things bad. It's definitely going to be fine. He survived the battle against the wolf pack, so this time will definitely work as well. Yuan Ba squatted on the side in a daze. Hearing their words, he suddenly stood up and went straight into the third floor. Suddenly, there was no sign. After Long Fei entered the third floor, he had been squatting at the side without saying a word, as if he was an invisible person. Yuan Ba! Niodahai called out. He did not have time to think too much and rushed to the third floor. Yuan Ling followed closely behind. After entering the third floor, the three of them looked at the shattered stones that littered the corridor. What happened? Yuan Ba started running along the rocks. Ding, ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for getting EXP from killing statue. True Chi, 1,100 points. Energy values, 1 point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Evil Spirit, number 1. Congratulations, player. The system beep continued to ring. With Xiao Bai and the ice and fire clearing the way in front of him, he was completely fearless. His hands were like hammers as they continuously bombarded the statues that had crawled up from the ground. This is great. This is what you call leveling up. This is what you call breaking through. In just a short span of 2 hours, his experience points had increased by a huge amount, and in a few more hours, he would be able to level up again. Other people would not even last an hour for him if they trained for a year. Possession of the system was just so coquettish. Continue being arrogant. Continue acting. Kill. Long Fei commanded as he silently said in his heart, Lu Luoshi, wait for me. 3 years, I will definitely make him kneel and come back for you. Bam. Rumble. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for getting EXP from killing the statue. True Chi, 1,100 points. Energy values, 1 point. Suddenly, Xiao Bai suddenly stopped and said, Master, there is an extremely fierce chi in front. It might be the Statue King. Yan Huang Ancestor also immediately said, Xiao Bai is right. There's a very dangerous aura ahead. The soul aura is completely different. You have to be careful. With the incident with Hong Tianjun last time, the Yan Huang Ancestor protected Long Fei with all his might. He would not let go of any danger. The king statue, right? Ice and fire. Long Fei shouted. Bing Hua immediately ran over and said, Understood. Long Fei leaped up onto the back of Ice and Fire and said to Xiao Bai, Continue to kill. 3 minutes later, hoo, the sound of heavy breathing could be heard. With a long bone staff in hand, he sat at the entrance to the 4th floor, completely blocking the entrance. The Statue King was revived. The Statue King was revived. Reassembling, he revealed a sinister sneer and mocked, Ha ha ha. What did the anger of the wolf god count for? You think you can kill me? Stop dreaming. After reforming his body, the aura released by his body had become even stronger. He was being looked down upon. He was being despised. Uncle can endure, but wolves cannot. Xiao Bai was so angry that he almost went berserk. I don't believe that I can't kill you. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, several light blades were released consecutively. After slicing the Statue King into dozens of pieces, Xiao Bai shouted angrily, Your sister, continue being arrogant, continue being arrogant. He was furious, and his killing intent was boiling. However, without waiting for him to act arrogantly, the Statue King reassembled itself in a flash of lightning. Compared to the very beginning, the aura on its body was much stronger. The more he killed, the stronger he became. This was simply abnormal. Xiao Bai was dumbstruck. He looked at the Statue King and couldn't say a word. The king statue's face was filled with contempt. Is that all you have? Come on, lowly humans. You are nothing but ants in front of me. Long Fei looked at Xiao Bai. Xiao Bai grinned and laughed, saying, Master, he's talking about you. Long Fei. Xiao Bai continued to laugh. Master, I can see that he isn't in a good mood. I have already released my big move and will depend on you now. Without waiting for Long Fei's control, he disappeared immediately after entering the war pet space. He curled up into a circle at a corner and muttered, "This is too frustrating. Such a blow. A stately wolf god who had held back for more than half a year, to think that I would be looked down upon the first time I released this move. It is truly disrespectful. Give me another spirit stone." While they were talking, he seemed to remember that Long Fei had dropped a spirit stone when he was killing Zhou Tianxiao. Immediately, with a move of the idea S, the wolf claws reached into Long Fei's space ring and directly stole and ate the lonely spirit stones. Then, with a face full of happiness, it said, "What sculpture, King? I don't recognize it. I'm not familiar with it." "Master, you can do it. Give it a good lesson for me. Let it know how powerful humans are, right?" "Master, you're a human. I'm a wolf, not a human. He's always laughing at you. It has nothing to do with me." The mockery of the statue king had been completely forgotten. It was as if he had never been born. Then Xiaobai said loudly, "Statue king, you are forcing me to be your master. I am still a wolf cub, and I am still a cute wolf cub. What are you bullying me for? You must have touched my master. Are you mocking him? He's an adult now." Long Fei was truly speechless. He really wanted to pull Xiaobai out and break his JJ. "Now, you say you're a little wolf." The 3 blades stabbed into the middle of the king statue's heart, and the 3 blades collided with the body of the king statue, resonating with each other. Then, Long Fei glared at him, angrily, "Strangle him!" The power of the attack superimposed, once more. Bam! Explosions came out from the body of the statue king, and the seal in his heart was shattered. Long Fei's figure also crazily shrank at this moment. Then, 3 figures overlapped each other. Long Fei's lower jaw almost fell off. The dragon salyer was truly too heavy. With both of his hands holding onto the blade, he stared at the dazed statue king and shouted, "You despise me? Mocking me? You're nothing." He looked at the last trace of blood on the head of the statue king. Long Fei slashed down. "Die!" Boom! The king's statue trembled. Its eyes filled with endless fear. It no longer showed any arrogance, but instead, fear. It was also at this time Xiaobai rushed out and immediately peed on the face of the statue king, then laughed out loud. "Eat my piss. Ha ha ha. Are you King arrogant, and are mocking this wolf god? Are you even worthy of that? I'll trample you to death, stomp you to death, stomp you to death." Xiaobai frantically trampled on the body of the statue king. Long Fei said in disdain, "Xiaobai, when did your skin become so thick? How shameless." Long Fei shattered the body of the statue king, and it never revived because the power of all 3 seal S shattered. At this moment, Long Fei became excited and said excitedly, "Give me the Xianming sword. Release your striking attribute." In the Thunder Dragon Temple secret realm, as long as it was a boss, Long Fei would not let it go. The statue king was clearly the 3rd layer's guardian boss. How could he let it go? Ding. Chapter 48_8419/2356570. The sweet sound of a system beep could be heard. The sweet sound of a system beep could be heard. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Statue King, for obtaining 700 points of experience, 500 points of true chi, and 1 point of energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Soul Seal Staff. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Giant Spirit Arm. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Refining Hammer. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Evil Spirit, number 100. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the sealing spirit. The system beep stopped. Long Fei let out a long sigh and muttered, "There's still no Xianming sword." "Good stuff." Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Yen Huang Ancestor exclaimed at the thing inside the space ring. Long Fei was shocked and immediately asked, "What's the good stuff? Was it the seal staff, giant spirit arm, hardening hammer, or what?" With such a small amount of loot, what good stuff could it possibly have? Looks like the Wolf King is feeling better. At least we can get a bit more holy artifact out of it. Long Fei did not open up the system to check the properties of these things either. However, with his many years of gaming experience, these things were obviously not holy artifacts, so he was very depressed. Yen Huang Ancestor said excitedly, "What you said just now is pretty good for you, it's all useful, but that secret skill is different. Sealing is very common, even immortal sects from your lower plane would have this kind of sealing. However, this sealing is different. It belongs to a secret technique." What is a secret skill? It contains the power of the elements. Once you cultivate it, this sealing will completely disappear, fusing with something deep within your soul. It's rare even in Chaos Realm. Yen Huang Ancestor was extremely excited as he said, "Furthermore, I had already observed it with my spiritual sense just now. The seal on these statues came from this book of sealing. Hurry and cultivate it." Huh. Long Fei did not look at the attribute of the sealing secret, but rather moved his idea confusingly. Cultivate. Then, the secrets of the sealing disappeared. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for training secret skills sealing. You have obtained 1,000 experience points, 100 true chi, and a special reward of 1,000 points. Cultivation method. Sealing secret grade. Divine level proficiency. O/consumption. 100 true chi points cooldown. 1 hour description. This is the strongest seal technique. As long as the player has reached a certain level, they can seal the sky, seal the earth, and everything in the world can be used with the seal. Long Fei was stunned. Yen Huang Ancestor laughed. This secret technique is awesome, right? Even in Chaos Realm, it's considered a pretty good technique. Hurry up and cultivate. If you were to practice this cultivation technique, the world would be under your feet. You can step on it however you want. Long Fei was truly shocked. Even other cultivation methods could not give him such a shock. But how could this tiny sealing possess such power? He thought that doing more would just be a few seal evil spirits or something like that. It was like being a Taoist in a movie, but the description of the system was completely different. This was an offensive type cultivation technique. Moreover, to cultivate to a certain realm of seal, even heaven and earth would not be a problem. To seal the heavens, to seal the earth, just how amazing was that? Excited, the Yen Huang Ancestor laughed. Although the Soul Seal Staff is not a holy artifact, it can still assist the sealing and increase its power by 1 level. As for the Giant Spirit Arm, if I'm not wrong, it should have a trace of Giant Spirit Force. Don't you think highly of Luby? That fellow has a bit of the blood vein of the Titan God in his body, so the power given to him by his 2 arms is much stronger than the power you can release. It's a hammer specially made for refining. The surface of the hammer is engraved with symbols, which is also useful for refining. If one's luck is good, it might even be able to refine a holy artifact. Kid, how on earth did you get all these things into the space ring? Ever since he had been refined by Long Fei, he had felt that there was another kind of power within Long Fei's body. What kind of power was this? He couldn't sense it at all. Every time he killed a demon beast or a human space ring, there would be some extra items. Most of the time, it would be good stuff such as the Xianming sword sheath, the fury of the Wolf King. Long Fei giggled and said shamelessly, because I'm the most handsome man in the world. Even these things are all enchanted by me when they see me. No one would talk about the striking system, even if it was the Yen Huang ancestor S. Moreover, Yen Huang ancestor was unable to sense the existence of the system. Even if he wanted to, he would not be able to guess that there was a technology in his body. Yen Huang ancestor smiled faintly and said, "Everyone has their own secrets. If you don't tell me, I won't ask again." Long Fei did not explain. There was no way to explain it. This was the only thing he could not explain. While Long Fei was conversing with the Yen Huang ancestor, at an unknown time, Niu Dahai, Yuan Ba, and Yuan Ling were standing not far away in a daze, quietly watching him. They were all stunned. He stared at Long Fei, without moving. It was as if he was staring at a monster. Just now, they saw Long Fei's figure split into 9 blades, all striking out at the same time. This power was simply too strong, a power they had never seen before. Especially that blade technique. 3-blade stream. As if possessed by a demon, one slash killed him. The strength of his blade technique was simply too shocking. So much so that the 3 of them stood in place for 3 whole minutes without being able to react. When Long Fei saw them, his face shivered and he laughed. "I was just about to go back and call you guys down. I didn't expect all of you to come." The 3 of them were still looking at Long Fei, without moving. Even Yuan Ba was dumbstruck. One must know that he did not have many expressions on his face. "What's wrong? Is there a flower on my face? Why are you looking at me like that?" Long Fei said somewhat embarrassedly, and then Long Fei shamelessly said again, "Have you been enchanted by my handsome appearance?" Yuan Ba, "Great sea ox, forget about the 2 of you. I'm not gay. Sister Yuan Ling, we can talk about life, talk about dreams, and so on." The 3 of them still didn't move. Finally, Niu Dahai swallowed, then walked forward. "Are you a human?" Yuan Ling and Yuan Ba's eyes became even more serious and serious. They looked at Long Fei and asked, "Are you a human?" Long Fei. Yuan Ling asked, "What kind of blade technique did you use with the 3-blade stream?" Long Fei, "About this I couldn't explain it right away either. At that time, this move appeared in my mind, so, you wouldn't understand anyways. He can't say I saw it in an anime, learned it." Thinking about Sua Long's 3-blade stream, Long Fei was surprised. 3-blade stream. I never thought that I would actually use Sua Long's move. Am I not that awesome? Let's try again. Chapter 5. 8_8419/2356571. If not for Yuan Ling mentioning it, Long Fei would have forgotten about it. If not for Yuan Ling mentioning it, Long Fei would have forgotten about it. And then, Long Fei closed his eyes as the idea sank. In his mind, he began to analyze the situation. He could no longer sense the saber intent of the 3-blade stream and was unable to enter it. Ding! My perception isn't good enough. The system beeped. Long Fei's heart trembled. If I could have entered just now, why is it that I can't enter now? 3-blade stream, ghost slash. I have to learn it. Sauron is my idol. He has 3 sharp blades, but before this, I still lack 2 blades. Long Fei muttered in his heart. After releasing the ghost slash once, he relied on the luck attribute of the spiritual void ring. It was also Long Fei's comprehension ability exploding on the brink of life and death. However, since he had already released it, he would continue to comprehend it. He must master the 3-blade stream because it was simply too cool. Right. Yuan Ba, come over. Long Fei took out the giant spirit arm and said, "Fusing with this pair of arms should be of help to you." Huh. Yuan Ba immediately took a step back and said, "I can't take your thing anymore. give it to senior fellow apprentice Niu or senior sister Yuan Ling. If I can make it out alive, I still have to go back to the Zhou family. The reason why he followed Long Fei was because he wanted to help Long Fei, even if it cost him his life. Because he owed Long Fei. So there were several times when he had to use his body to block Long Fei's attacks. Even if he wanted to repay Long Fei with his life, he would be free from this. Long Fei's brows tightened and thought to himself, is this the key to why the mission was not completed? Huff. Long Fei exhaled and did not insist and said, I'll keep it for you. In addition, Yuan Ba, you do not owe the Zhou family anything, and you are not a slave either. Besides living for the Zhou family, you have to think about yourself. After Long Fei finished speaking, he turned around and left, saying, enter the 4th floor. Niu Dahai immediately followed. Yuan Ling looked at Yuan Ba and said indifferently, he is right, you can't always live for the Zhou family. You have already repaid what you owe the Zhou family. Finished. She followed. Yuan Ba stood in place, lowered his head, and looked at the slave mark on his chest, then clenched his fists tightly. It was just as Long Fei said. He had strength that he could not even imagine. He has the blood vein of the giant spirit god. It was just that. The blood vein in his body had yet to awaken. He loosened his fists and followed her. Long Fei stood at the entrance to the 4th floor. There was nothing around him, no corridors, no buildings, just a field of darkness. He couldn't even light a torch, as if this was another world. However, waves of breathing could be heard coming from the depths of their hearts. The terrifying sound of breathing. It was like he had been asleep for 1,000 years. Long Fei reminded everyone be careful. Following that, Long Fei took out the treasure map of the 4th floor and began to study it with confidence. The mechanism under the throne, you can enter the lowest floor after opening the mechanism. Niu Dahai said excitedly, Boss, so the 3rd and 4th level of the treasure map is on you? Long Fei looked at the void of darkness and said, all of you carefully search around. See if there are any thrones or things like that. Master, it's dangerous. Xiao Bai's voice trembled a little as she said, Master, this is a special space. There is a dangerous aura everywhere, and I can't sense where it's coming from. Yan Huang Ancestor gave a faint reminder as well. Xiao Bai is right. This place is indeed strange, but I can track his position. Kid, open your idea door. I'll pass on my power to you. Long Fei's idea relaxed, and then a strand of the Yan Huang ancestor's power flowed into his sea of consciousness. Next, Long Fei's eyes flashed with a bright light. He could see the entire space clearly. Surrounding him was a huge plaza. There was a huge throne in the middle of the plaza. A huge man sat on the throne. He leaned on the throne and slept soundly. Leaning on his side was a sword without a sheath. Moreover, the man was draped with a tattered cloak. His appearance could not be seen clearly. However, the qi that was being emitted from his body, Long Fei's mind, and his sea of consciousness were all trembling. Too powerful. Yan Huang Ancestor was also secretly shocked. He said, This is probably the reason why the Thunder Dragon Temple Immortal Sect disappeared. This guy is too powerful. Brat, I suggest that you withdraw. You're not his opponent. The power that I've just transmitted to you can only be maintained for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, the power will disappear, and you will once again sink into darkness. Retreat. Long Fei grinned. Looking through the system, Long Fei's entire body was boiling because the man's body was shining with an extremely dazzling golden light. Golden light flashed. It was even more dazzling than the golden light emitted by any boss he had ever seen. No doubt about it, he was the boss, and the strongest boss in the Thunder Dragon Temple Secret Realm Instance dungeon. How could he not kill him when he had already reached this step? If he withdrew just like that, Long Fei would really not be able to sleep for 10 days and 10 nights, because this was exactly what he closed his eyes for. In-game, killing a boss. He was just playing with a heartbeat. Then again, retreat wasn't Long Fei's style, and wasn't his style in the face of a boss's retreat. One word. F***CK. Long Fei secretly thought, Ancestor, do you know why I fought with all my might when I met Hong Tianjun that time? Because I feel that I should live my life in an arrogant and tyrannical manner. But in the end, I retreated. But from that moment on, I, Long Fei, will definitely not take another step back. Lu Luoshi's kneeling caused his heart to collapse. He survived on a woman. From that moment onwards, Long Fei swore that he would not take another step back. Even if the one he faced was a god or the heavens themselves, he would still fight. He wouldn't retreat, even if he died. Yan Huang Ancestor laughed out loud. Good boy, you have the same demeanor as when this sovereign was young. I was not mistaken. The martial arts training itself is a heaven-defying existence. Where did you get the path of retreat? Brat, you taught me a lesson today. All right, I will do my best to help you. Long Fei said heavily, Many thanks. At this time, Niu Dahai saw that Long Fei had not moved and asked softly, What's wrong? Long Fei came back to reality and said, It's nothing. This might not be the only entrance. Finished. Long Fei headed back. However, Niu Dahai, Yuan Ling, and even Yuan Ba did not move an inch. Yuan Ling said, Don't lie to us again. We all know that the path is the right one. If you want to trick us out, then fight here by yourself. What do you take us for? Long Fei looked at them and said, Are you really not leaving? 360 search. Half floating / equals, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. The three of them said at the same time. Long Fei was excited. Then do it. Chapter 6. Table of Contents 8_8419/23566572. Furthermore, you have just cultivated the ceiling. If the level increase of the ceiling reaches the great perfection stage, not to mention locking onto the Dark Spirit Shaman King, killing him instantly would not be a problem for you. Retreat. Retreat. Long Fei immediately made up his mind and quickly retreated after a series of fierce attacks against the Dark Spirit Mage King. Indeed, boom, the Dark Spirit Mage King broke through the seal and said furiously he actually cultivated the secret seal technique of the old ghost, but so what? All of you, go die. He was furious. He instantly went berserk. The sense of power released from the Dark Spirit, Magus King's body became especially strong. All of you back away. Long Fei shouted, dragging his dragon sallier and rushing out. Damn, we want to see who's going to die. Long Fei's idea merged into the dragon sallier's body. They could feel the dragon god's roar, the solidifying blood, the roaring flames of refinement in the sky, the Titan blood vein, divine tiger blood vein, and wolf king blood vein. Bring it on. Long Fei lowered her voice and said, Burst out your most brutal power. 1 slash. Long Fei's figure flashed, and a bolt of lightning pierced through the air and landed right behind the Dark Spirit Mage King. At this moment, the sword chi released by the Dark Spirit Mage King was crushed into pieces by Long Fei, and a crack appeared on his body. Crack! Blood gushed out of the Dark Spirit Magus King's body. Schwa! Strongest upgrade system. A level critical hit damage appeared. Long Fei's heart was boiling. However, be careful. The 7th chapter was really going all out to update it. 8_8419/23566573. 1,000,000 damage dealt. 1,000,000 damage dealt. It was twice as high as when he killed Nangong Woody. This was the savage side of Dragon Salyer. However, Long Fei could only release his abilities once, so any more wouldn't work. His spirit power couldn't hold up much longer. However, the 20,000 points of damage was indeed very powerful, but the Dark Spirit Magus King had at least 10,000,000 HP and couldn't even kill him. Be careful! Yuan Ling shouted loudly. Yuan Ba had already rushed out. The Dark Spirit Magus King wielded his great sword and let out an arrogant growl. Go to hell! With both hands, he raised his sword and slashed down on Xiang Longfei's head. In that instant, Yuan Ba took a step forward and directly held onto the Dark Spirit Shaman King's arm. At this moment, a giant strength surged out of Yuan Ba's body, and all the veins on his body bulged out. A sudden sinking. The mission was pulled down. Boom! The Dark Spirit Mage King moved its arm, and the huge sword slashed towards Long Fei with a distance of less than 10 centimeters away from him. Rumble! The earth split open. The entire square was trembling, the ground cracking and uneven. At that moment, Long Fei did not have time to react at all. It was too fast, and the force was too strong, if not for Yuan Ba slightly pulling the Dark Spirit Shaman King's arm off. His body would have been split into 2 halves. Moreover, it had to be said that Yuan Ba's strength was simply heaven-defying. His cultivation was only at War Chief realm, but the power he released was invincible. Pure strength. In gaming terms, his strength is purely physical attack power, a strength born of a god of war. He grabbed the Dark Spirit Mage King's arm and flipped it over, directly jumping onto the top of his head. He then crossed his arms, forming a battle axe, and heavily smashed down. Boom! The Dark Spirit Magus King's body sank down, and his anger started burning. Trash like you? Ah! A burst of power came out from his head, sending Yuan Ba flying out, smashing into the wall 100 meters away, and spitting out a large mouthful of blood. His face was incomparably pale. And Long Fei, although he was not injured. However, he was still sent flying by the strong sword chi. The deadliest thing was, 3 minutes later, Long Fei's vision returned to the darkness. He could only sense the aura of the Dark Spirit Magus King. However, Long Fei quickly retreated until he was hidden from Yuan Ling and the others. Then Long Fei shouted, "All of you, do not move." At the same time, Long Fei was extremely arrogant as he said, "Dark Spirit Mage King, come, come, come. Come and kill me, you bastard. Come at me if you dare." They kept clamoring. He pulled aggro. Yan Huang Ancestor asked, "What are you planning to do?" Long Fei said, "I want to kill him." Long Fei watched as the Dark Spirit Mage King's HP continued to drop. However, the damage was getting weaker and weaker, but it still wasn't enough to kill him. Long Fei immediately said, "Master King Yen, go and mess with him a little more. A little more will be enough. He is not in my book of life and death. I cannot kill him. Boy, I will leave the rest to you. My time is up. Oxhead is calling me home to eat." Then, the Hades had disappeared. Long Fei, isn't this too fast? Lord Hades. Long Fei's underworld summoning seal vibrated a few times before he injected the true chi. Ding! Cooldown isn't over yet. Ding! Cooldown isn't over yet. I can't summon it. I'll go. Long Fei scolded him. That's too unreliable. The monsters haven't killed you yet. Can you at least have some potential? Don't you know you're being looked down upon? There was no reaction at all. The ghost souls summoned by the Yellow Springs summoning seal were random. At the same time, the ghost souls summoned by the summoning seal had different time limits. Earlier, it was time for the Hades to disappear. Now, Long Fei was left alone again. At this moment, Niu Dahai shouted loudly, "Boss, what's the situation?" "Huff, don't come over." Long Fei looked at the spirit demon king, who was crawling up from the ground. He took out the dragon salyer and carried it on his shoulder. Chapter 8. Keep updating. 8_8419/2356574. There was no point in coming over. There was no point in coming over. Niu Dahai and Yuan Ling were not his match at all. Yuan Ba was the same. Unless he could completely awaken the giant spirit god blood vein in his body, it would be impossible for him to be a match for him. Not to mention, the moment the dark spirit Magus King crawled up from the ground, he was completely enraged. Red light shone from his entire body. Even the huge sword emitted a crimson cold glint. He tore off the tattered cloak covering his body, revealing a hideous face. "Huff, huff." The dark spirit mage king locked onto Long Fei and said coldly, "Damn you, human, you let me—" Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei raised his dragon salyer and ran up, saying, "Luo Li, you talk a lot. You just want to look down on me. You are worthy of that. Jump." The saber slashed down. Clang. Flames flew in all directions. The dragon salyer was blocked by the huge sword in the dark spirit mage king's hand and could not be suppressed. Whoosh wong. Boom. He then pushed the sword down, and the dark spirit Magus king sneered and said, "It's no use, your power is way too weak for me. I'm weaker than your 18 generations of ancestors." Long Fei cursed. The dragon salyer withdrew. He stepped on the gigantic sword and moved both of his arms. Mountain hit fist. Roar. The shadow of the large power King Kong ape superimposed onto Long Fei's body and smashed towards the dark spirit mage king's wound. Bam. Bam. 2 heavy punches. At this time, the dark spirit mage king sent Long Fei flying with a palm. Boom. Long Fei bounced off the wall after he collided, spitting out a mouthful of blood, one hand hitting the ground. Again. Teleport. Shwa. The power released from both of his arms once again, locking on to the wound of the dark spirit Magus King and launching another 2 punches. Bam. Bam. 2 more punches, and Long Fei was sent flying again. Again. Long Fei did not stop at all. He climbed up from the ground and used all his strength to rush forward. "If I don't kill you, I won't be a dragon." He was like a madman, a complete lunatic. He rushed forward again and again. One after another, he was sent flying. The dark spirit mage king's health point was declining, and so was his. Yan Huang ancestor couldn't say a word. He really wanted to help Long Fei, but right now he was just a remnant soul who couldn't help Long Fei at all. It was the same for Xiao Bai and Ice and Fire. Their hearts were in pain. He hated himself for not being strong enough, hated himself for not being able to help Long Fei. Facing Hong Tianjun, wasn't Long Fei the same? The pain of the weak was unbearable. That was why he was fighting with his life on the line. Again. Long Fei roared and rushed forward again with his life on the line. The dark spirit Magus King laughed out wildly and said, "A lowly creature like you will never be able to kill me. Ha ha." Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up, currently at War Chief level 5. All of Long Fei's attributes had been fully recovered due to his upgrade, including his mental force. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward for killing Dark Spirit Mage King. At this moment, a gift pack box was glowing with a golden light. Long Fei moved his hand and clicked on it. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the special reward Black Knife Autumn Water. Huh. Huh. Long Fei was scared stiff by the last system announcement, his entire body shivering. What? What reward? Open view now. Long Fei was dumbfounded once again because there was a black-colored long blade placed in the space ring. This black knife was called Autumn Water and was one of the 3 blades inside the one piece. Damn. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed like a fool. 3 blades, 3 blades. 1 blade is a dragon slayer, 2 blades are Autumn Water. There is still 1 more blade that must be revealed. Too happy. He had never thought that he would be so excited when he released the 3-blade flow ghost slash. He never thought that he would receive the system's special reward, Black Knife Autumn Water. That's too much. Long Fei said excitedly, System, I love you so much. If you were a woman, I would definitely marry you. Ha ha ha. Having the system was just that amazing. Baidu search. Half afloat, although he did not touch the striking attribute, the items that he had dropped were all good stuff. The Xianming sword was here. There was also Autumn Water. However, and this was not the end, because the Dark Spirit Magus King's throne was trembling. Chapter 9. 8_8419/2356575. With the death of the Dark Spirit Magus King, the square was lit up brightly. With the death of the Dark Spirit Magus King, the square was lit up brightly. Niudahai and the other 2 did not have enough time to be shocked by Long Fei killing the Dark Spirit King, and shouted loudly, What's going on? What's going on? Boss, what's the situation? The entire plaza shook violently. The earth shook, and the mountains shook, as if the entire secret plane was about to collapse. Long Fei thought of the prompt on the treasure map and shouted, All of you quickly get out. Hurry up. Without giving them time to hesitate, the secret plane might collapse. Yuan Ba and Yuan Ling were all at the exit. They had the time to rush out, but he had not. This is an order. Hurry up. Long Fei roared. Niudahai also did not hesitate anymore. Boss, be careful. Let's go. With that, he dragged Yuan Ba and ran out. Yuan Ling looked at Long Fei, who was deep inside, and his heart tightened a little. Ding. Intimacy +4, current intimacy, 89. Damn. Don't mention intimacy to me now, all right? They're all going to die. Long Fei cursed in his heart, but in his heart, he thought bitterly, I'm just short of 90 points, and I'll be able to do whatever I want. Damn, Long Fei, Long Fei, what are you thinking about? You're still thinking about some dirty things. You're going to die here. The 3 of them walked out of the 4th floor. Long Fei had coincidentally rushed to the throne and continued to search. Where is the mechanism? Rumble, rumble, rumble. One after another, boulders in the plaza fell. The ground sank, the earth collapsed. The deep pit was like hell, endless darkness. Damn, where is it? Long Fei searched through the entire throne's body, but did not manage to do anything. Seeing the surrounding area crumbling, his heart was also boiling with rage. He took out the dragon salyer and fiercely slashed F***CKU. Boom. A single slash had reduced the throne to dust. A giant pattern appeared under the throne, the 8 dragons heading towards a hole. Long Fei immediately thought of Thunder Dragon Rod, and immediately retrieved the dragon salyer and took out the Thunder Dragon Rod, inserting the bead into the hole and shouted out loud, It will die with its eggs in the sky. It will live for tens of thousands of years. Open for me. Boom. The moment the bead was inserted into the hole, the 8 lightning dragons on top of the Thunder Dragon Rod shot out, rolling and roaring nonstop in the void of darkness, just like a physical entity. Then, as one lightning dragon after another charged into the deep hole, Long Fei began to move crazily with his feet. Rumble. The entire 8 Dragons painting collapsed. Long Fei fell into the endless abyss and silently cursed in his heart, F***CKU, I'm finished now. However, not waiting for him to finish, his figure suddenly stopped, and he was sucked into the bead that had fallen off the Thunder Dragon rod. The moment he entered, he became stupefied. The bird song and the fragrant scent of flowers, the towering trees, everything around was like a paradise. It was peaceful, calm, and filled with an incomparable sense of satisfaction. Long Fei stood there and felt everything around him so comfortable. It was also at this time a girl whose beauty could not be described with any words floated lightly in front of Long Fei. The beauty was a complete mess. What devastatingly beautiful woman, what peerless beauty. These words could even be considered an insult to her. Long Fei could be considered to have seen the beauties of this world, but the woman in front of him was so beautiful that it caused his heart to feel extremely calm. It suffocated the capital. The girl smiled faintly, looked at Long Fei, and said, "Thank you for saving me." Long Fei regained his senses and asked, "Are you the soul inside the pearl?" The girl replied, "Yes, I am Fei from the fairy clan. I have been living in the Thunder Dragon Temple for over 1,000,000 years. Thank you for saving me. Can you take me home?" Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the mission. Send Fei back to the fairy clan. Task level, time of mission, 10 years task reward, 100 million experience points, 1 million true chi, the staff of the elves. With the support of the elves, Fei's intimacy increased to 100 points. Ding! Accept. Accept. Is there even a need to consider this? Of course I have to accept it. Long Fei said with an irredeemable tone, "I'll send you home." Just from the last bit of task reward, the intimacy has been raised to 100 points. What does this mean? At the stage of doing whatever you want, doesn't that mean that you can do whatever you want? A beauty of the elven race, my blissful sexual life. I can't think about it anymore. Long Fei continuously controlled his own thoughts because he felt a warm current rushing out from his nose. If he continued to think about it, his nose would start bleeding. "Thank you, my lord." Fei bowed as she said happily, "If you don't agree, I still want you to stay here and play with me." "Gudong." Long Fei's back was drenched in cold sweat. "Stay here." Wouldn't that mean he would never be able to leave? Holy **T. It's a good thing that I've been smart enough to accept this mission. Otherwise, I would have gone crazy for the rest of my life just staying here in this damned place. Long Fei felt a lingering fear even when he imagined it. And then Long Fei asked, "Where are the elves?" Fei replied, "It's been 1,000,000 years, and I don't know about it anymore. That's why I asked you to look for it. If you knew, I would have gone back myself." Air. Long Fei looked at the time of the mission and thought, there are still 10 years left anyway. If there's enough time, we can go out first. In that case, let's head out first. Fei nodded and said, "Okay, close your eyes. I will take you out." Long Fei closed his eyes. Wong. A buzz sounded out from the surroundings, as if they had entered a tunnel leading through time and space. Swish. Outside the ruins of Thunder Dragon Temple, deep in Fireglass Mountain Range. "Boss will definitely be fine. He will definitely be fine." Nyo Dahai prayed as he spoke, adding on the fact that he was fat. The fat on his body trembled as if he was a god. Yuan Ling looked at the ruins in front of him and frowned. They're all ruins. After they rushed out of the secret realm, the entire Thunder Dragon Temple secret realm had collapsed, and the entire ruins of the Thunder Dragon Temple had caved in, forming a huge crater 100 meters deep. Even an expert of the War Emperor realm would not be able to escape if they were buried so deep inside. Yuan Ba kept using his hands to dig in the deep hole, His nails were turned over, and his fingers were bleeding. Always digging. He kept digging, ignoring the pain in his fingers. After living for such a long time, Long Fei was the first one to treat him as a human being. At this moment, not far away, a group of people walked out. They were disciples of the blood refinement sect. He had a cold smile on his face, and his killing intent was dense. The sea had done its best, and now it basically only slept for 5 hours a day. Dozing off at work, the boss criticizing it. The sea is really working hard, brothers. If you still have a monthly ticket, please help out. 8_8419/2356576. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.